Hello, viewer. Today, I'm coming in hot, everybody. Today it's Sunday, October the 8th, 2023. I am Mr. Brown, and I trust you are all doing very well today. On this evening's stream / podcast, we are discussing the goings on this week in the entertainment and on the social media. It was a week where stuff happened in Hollywood and more very bad stuff happened in real life. Very bad stuff. So, if you've not shut down for the evening, as I always say, there is lots to get through. Shall we get those guests out? You know it, of course. We should. Okay, so first up, from a VPN far, far away, it's the golden reach around droid of choice. You know who it is, folks. It is a very dark Z3PO.
Oh, I'm getting in a spooky mood coming up to Halloween.
Bwah,
Boo.
bwah.
Do you see how fearsome I am?
I'm bricking myself. Hello, Z.
Hello there.
How are you, sir?
I'm very good. Looking forward to this week's musings and seeing what we've got to cover.
Oh,
It should be quite interesting.
There's plenty.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And we
Probably
have got an excellent panel tonight, haven't we?
we have probably too much to discuss, but I saw what you did there. Shall we get the next bod out?
Oh, yes, please.
Great to have you on, mate. Okay.
Always a pleasure.
Never a chore. We see the good inside our next guest. He is the Dark Sith Lord Jord. Let's all platoon, everybody.
Evening all.
Hello there.
Hello, how is everyone?
Not bad, Lord. How are you?
Oh, same as usual. Busy, tired, in bad order.
Let me guess. This is a wild shot in the dark, wild stab. Mando out yet?
No, I'm waiting for the copyright to time out because it's just doing one of those things again, but it will time out. It will time out on Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday.
I love your pumpkin.
It's a good little pumpkin, isn't it? Yeah, it took ages to carve. Made a real mess.
So, is it uploaded?
Oh, no, it's been up for, how long has it been up for? 2 weeks? 3 weeks? One of the two. But then I stopped uploading different versions in a bid to get past the system because the system was being a shit. So instead, I just appealed it. And then I escalated it to appeal. So then they had 7 days to review it. And of course, that means they won't review it. They'll just wait till it times out and it will go live. So yeah, some point middle of next week, the video will be out.
Then. Okay. Great to have you on, Lord. Shall we get the next body out?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, next from the future, second time on the channel, Echo Chamberlain, everybody. Here he is.
Well, hello good there. Morning. Yeah, coming from the Southern Hemisphere, I'm loving this this British summertime hour change that you guys have, which means for the first time ever in a stream, I'm fully awake. It's great. The time difference is fantastic.
What time local for you now?
10:36. Perfect.
So it's 12 for 12 for a few weeks.
Yeah. So I've decided I'm going to relax this time in the stream. I'm sitting on a couch, as relaxed as I can be, whilst also contending with the dense, intricate existential angst of being a New Zealander during a Rugby World Cup.
I've not watched any of the World Cup. Are you still in?
Yes, we're facing Ireland in the quarterfinals in a week's time.
Oh. So how's the channel going, my friend? Good, yes?
I think so, yeah. Creeping up to 35,000 subs.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, it's I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
And for the folks at home, what is your channel about?
Mainly. Just the same old shit. talking about entertainment and culture and the never-ending well of stupidity that is modern entertainment and culture.
The same old shit, everybody. Same as what we do here. Great to have you on, my friend. Shall we get the next body out? I think we should. Yes, let's do it. Okay. He's back, everybody. He's tough. Don't mess with him. It's Dark Hour.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing, dude?
Doing pretty good. Just threw together a nice little Halloween-themed avatar in about 30 seconds for you, since I saw platoons and 3POs, so figured I'd join in.
How's the channel going, amigo?
It's been at a bit of a slow period, but I'm not too worried about it. You know, it ebbs and flows in this world.
Any new content coming out?
I'm still working on I'm working on a couple videos and still doing the bi-weekly streams with the Uninspired Reviewer. We got Kill Bill coming up next week.
Nice.
Got I believe Z is on that one, right? Z, you're on that one?
I believe I am.
Yeah. Okay.
You're moonlighting.
Oh, every now and again, you know.
He doesn't need to sleep. He's a droid. So.
Oh.
Yes.
But yes, it's going okay.
It's great to have you on, my friend. Shall we get the final peep out?
Of course.
Okay, and last but by no means least, he is the wise elder of the channel. You know the rest. He is the great mega geek himself, the award winner, blah, blah, blah. Mega geek Ian David Diaz. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Just sucking into a lovely digestive and a coffee, which is
not Monster Munch.
No, it would be louder if it was Monster Munch, definitely. I guess the Americans don't know what Monster Munch is, or do they?
Corn, maize, corn, whatever snacks.
Pickled
here
onion.
You go. Yeah. Here you go. Eggs beating. It's shit. Here you go. Black your lives or black your votes. Ian, David, it's shit.
Blimey, I didn't realise I had fans.
Starting to get a reputation here, Ian.
I know, it's not good, is it?
I thought they were just reiterating the description of my channel. I don't know.
No.
I think, other than obviously the Lord, all our channels are shit. But anyway, okay. Great to have you on, peeps. Shall we do it then? Yes.
Let's start.
Hello, chats. We can see you. Good evening. Hello. Okay. Episode 173. End of week musings. Still don't know if I should get rid of that. Sunday, October 8th, 2023. Tom Hiddleston. If you've made it this far, you're enjoying this shite, please like, share, subscribe, clicks, baby. You know what you have to do. And leave a comment afterwards, even if you hate it, especially if you hate it. And please consider donating, super chats, etc., etc. Okay, first up then.
I thought you guys were just done with this.
So did I.
This is the dreg end of Ahsoka, folks, and then we can finally put it to rest. Yeah.
Well, you can. I have to go away and carry on fucking scripting the review after we've done this stream. So, you know,
I don't feel sorry for you, mate, though, because you know you called it upon yourself, mate. That's what you've done.
Yeah, I did.
Benjamin, that's called "It's Tough at the Top." Suck it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Echo, did you? Why is it every time I call you Echo, I want to go Echo? Did you see this season through, my friend?
It's really done a number on me. I've been really struggling to get through. Each episode it's taken a lot out of me. I couldn't get through to the last episode. I got through to 7, and then I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. It made me miserable. That's something so special, such an incredible universe with so much potential could be just reduced to something so vacuous, and that such terrible writers could be allowed to do it. And so I watched episode 6, and I was just looking at the screen and saying, just something happen, just anything happen, and nothing happened in the show. So it really made me sad.
To be honest, episodes where nothing happened tended to be the best ones. When stuff happened, it just all went completely wrong. So, like, the highest scoring episodes for me were episode 3, where it's just they go from place A to place B, and that's literally it. Because when nothing happens, they can't destroy too much. And it was fun going back because I'd written the script for episode 1 back when episode 1 first came out, and it begins, Ahsoka is not the worst Disney Star Wars show. And I was going back to that thinking, do I need to change this introduction now that I've seen the whole thing? Because I'm not sure it is the worst one, but it's no longer quite such a surefire thing that it isn't. I think it's just equivalently bad in all the other ways.
What was the worst one then?
Well, I don't really know. I think maybe recency bias says Mandalorian season 3, just because of the amount of sheer crap that they, on a writing level, character destruction, Obi-Wan, pointlessness level, Boba Fett. I think Ahsoka just rounds it off with world building destruction. So really, if you take them all together, they excel at destroying one piece of Star Wars each.
But the episode I was watching, even the characters seemed to be, all the characters were reluctant to be doing anything. And so there's just no momentum. It's just dreadful. Hardly any of the female characters had any particular femininity, and hardly any of the masculine characters had any masculinity. Everything is just a bland nothingness.
It's really funny how they are changing Star Wars to suit the feminist agenda. And it's really weird how they don't exactly. It's really weird how they don't realize that the fan base is majority male of Star Wars.
They don't care. It's the difference. It's not that they don't realize. They don't give a shit.
I guess you're right. I don't know. But I just find it incredibly stupid of them. And they're in charge of Star Wars, and they know what they're doing. And they know that hardly anybody's watching it, but yet they carry on. And I don't understand how they're getting funded for this. I really don't. I'm totally confused over the whole thing. Anyway.
Here you go, folks. New face, Lady Snowblood. Obi-Wan is a crime.
Yes, and Ahsoka is a live-action cartoon that relies far too much on information from other cartoons to make sense. It's a mediocre series that requires homework, and who's really going to do that?
Oh, but if you look at the adverts on Facebook and how many comments there are, comments going, "This is brilliant, this is great, best Star Wars ever," and all that. How is that happening?
Because these are people who still live with their parents who are brought up watching the cartoons.
Easy.
So this is very familiar territory.
And the
way to take a
stab.
Strong
influence on the weak-minded as well. I think there's a little bit of that.
Easy. Here you go, Wayland Pacephus for $2. Most law-damaging thing since... Oh. Well, you know what it is, don't you? Bad, isn't it?
Well, it does, because it does rip a lot of it up. I mean, it rips a huge amount of the lore up. So he was talking about, it needs homework and research, and it does for large parts to understand some of the character backstories and things like that. But if you then go and do homework and research, for example, what the origin of the Night Sisters of Dathomir is, well, the show doesn't give a shit. The show just tears that up and says, no, lol, all of that was a lie. Turns out they've come from a different galaxy for some reason. At some point they got that. I don't know. So actually, for all it requires homework of the show, the settled canon stuff has just been completely yeeted out the window because Dave Filoni is a hack.
Does anybody know what happened to the other fella then? The other
Jon Favreau.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Gone.
Is that official that he's gone?
No,
he put the Kool-Aid. He put the Kool-Aid cup down before he could finish it. So they just got rid of him.
I think it was obvious that he'd gone Mando S3, but anyway, okay.
But his name's still on the credits, right?
Yeah,
he hasn't announced that he's gone yet, so don't be surprised if he turns up in charge of Mando season 4.
Here you go, Wayland Pacephus for $2. Amanda Uggenkiss, or Suck My Dick.
It's terrible.
Well, not on the first date, anyway. Oh, maybe.
The first one requires less commitment. Yeah.
Correct.
One thing about Ahsoka, though, it's weird because I only really watched your guys' coverage of it. But one thing that has been pretty consistent, I've noticed throughout pretty much the entirety of it, is that Rebels, all the stuff around Ahsoka almost exists in its own pseudo pocket of like the Star Wars universe where it doesn't affect things out like in the movies. Like you don't even acknowledge, like, you know, you've had Revenge of the Sith. They don't even acknowledge that she existed, any of that stuff. So they do it all in this little pocket, and they can't even keep that pocket consistent with itself. They like don't even worry about lore breaking and continuity breaking of the rest of it. They can't even keep it inside of their own little pocket dimension. Correct.
Just looking for anything to grasp onto. I've never seen a show where almost all the characters are boring, where all the relationships are boring, all the dialogue is boring.
I would thoroughly recommend that you see the season through.
I don't know if I've got it in me.
I think you have.
I mean, you could see the tape at the end of the race. You might as well do it.
I will say. Okay, I'll promise me this then, Echo. Okay. If New Zealand lose next week, to comfort the loss, put the final episode on straight after.
Are you trying to get him to just jump off a building? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
It will put things in perspective.
There's an additional challenge with it as well. I think it was IGN or one of the show media outlets said that it was a really satisfying season finale that provided some great closure to multiple character arcs was the exact formulation they used. So if you do see the episode, given that you've been told that it satisfactorily closes many character arcs, I challenge you to find me a single character arc that is in fact closed by the end of the episode.
In fact, Echo, what you want to do a lot. You know these really silly live reaction videos, what you see of all these shills just creaming themselves. You should do a live reaction video of you watching it.
I don't think many people want to see a essentially middle-aged man with tears streaming down his cheeks. I don't think anyone wants
a broken man.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't know. Those videos of Kevin Smith got a lot of views. Just crying and stuff. So
he's a bloody idiot, though. That fella, isn't he?
I saw the.
Don't remind me. I'm from like right around the corner from where he's from. So
the men seem to be basically in three broad categories. One being the venal and officious types who ultimately get put in their place by women, like that guy who tries to chastise what's their face in that council meeting. And then C-3PO arrives. And then you've got the category of the stoic but largely irrelevant characters, like Ray Stevenson and that kind of thing. And then you've got the Ezra Bridger character. So my question for you guys, the way that Ezra talks and acts, have you ever actually interacted with a man like that in real life who comports himself and acts and talks in that kind of vaguely sexless, jaunty kind of way?
But he'd been talking to rock creatures for 10 years, so he's probably got an excuse. I think I'd go a little bit stir crazy. Panel, yeah?
If you spent 9 years pounding crabs, and I think probably after that you get a bit tired of the whole sex thing.
He's also very much like that in the Star Wars Rebels series. He's
pounding crabs?
No.
It's space crabs.
Talks with a jovial bump.
Ooh. Anyway, okay. It's shite, everybody.
It is. It's shit. It really is.
Here you go. Wayland Pacephus, $2. Oh, God. Phoebe Waller-Bridges funny bone. Didn't know she had one. Or Ahsoka. Panel. It's Ahsoka.
What are we doing with Ahsoka or Phoebe
Waller-Bridges? Well, which do you prefer? Phoebe Waller-Bridges funny bone.
Well, I can't stand that woman, so I guess I'll go with Ahsoka.
Yeah, Ahsoka.
I'd rather stick needles in my eyes, as Jack said once.
Oh, it's Ahsoka.
Yeah, Lord.
Well, Phoebe had one half good season in it for Fleabag, so she's been funny at some point in her life. So I'm going to take that over nothing, which is what I got from Ahsoka.
I mean, there was a lot of butt shots in Ahsoka, so you got that going for you.
True, there is that. Yep.
Echo choice.
I don't know. I have to recuse myself from this. I can't make a decision.
Just say pass.
No, just pass. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, enough of these big words. Recuse.
Sorry to be so depressed about this, folks. Sorry, it's not good, is it? On 20 minutes.
It's over though. It's over for everybody but Platoon.
Thank
and possibly Echo. Maybe we're not sure yet.
Yeah, Echo, do that little favor for us. Yeah, you'll enjoy it, mate. It'll build character, if anything. Okay.
Well, an all black loss will be. I'll just be in a featureless existential landscape of bleakness that I guess it doesn't matter what I'm watching.
Straight into Ahsoka, episode 8. Much the same thing. Who's watching Gen Z at the moment? Everybody?
Gen V.
That as well.
No.
No.
I just heard about this actually. I need to check it out. I didn't even realize. I never check. Yeah, I never check out like anything that's new on Prime. I just kind of hear about it like weeks later. So
from the world of The Boys, everybody.
And it's not about boys.
It's very much a stopgap until season 4 of The Boys, everybody. If that helps.
Not interested at all.
Hey, guess what, everybody?
Go on.
This is going well, isn't it? First 3 episodes, I thought, okay, something to watch while I'm munching my toast on a morning. Guess who wrote episode 4, everybody?
Kevin Smith? Who knows?
No, I'd have taken that, to be honest.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
No, I probably would have taken that as well. Who was the horrible person who wrote She-Hulk? Jessica Chow? Chow?
I don't remember. I don't actually know her name. I just remember she was terrible at her job.
Jessica Gal.
Her as well, yes. She doesn't like men, does she? She likes to belittle men. So I thought,
understand
I'm
where
out.
this is coming from. Where
I
is
thought
this
I'm
coming
out.
from?
I'm out.
Where's the man hate coming from?
Well, I know where it's coming
Was
from.
that your question?
One of the one of the superheroes who was investigating a crime. He had a penchant, shall we say, for sticking his old fella in any hole that was available at any time. So it didn't matter what it was: tree stump, hole in the wall, toilet, anything. I just thought, God, you hate men. So there you go. Shit. So avoid it, everybody.
Okay, I won't watch it then.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Everybody's waiting for The Boys anyway, so let's move on.
Oh, gold.
No, it's Loki. Anybody watch Loki?
No.
I watched it. I watched it specifically for this stream, Brownie.
Did you watch season 1?
I did.
Okay, so this was very much picking up from the last episode of S1. So what did you think?
Honestly, it just felt like not much really happened at all.
Well, it didn't, but
yeah. And the acting is fine. Like the acting, like Tom Hiddleston
Agreed.
still, like, even though like there's not much to work with there, Hiddleston and Owen Wilson still, like, their acting is fine. But I just, like, I don't really have much to say about it because not much really happened. It seems like it could be interesting, but then they're going to end up ruining that probably.
Yeah.
So.
I kind of thought that also. Here you go, Johnny Lawrence's mum. I watched it, made 0 sense. Yeah, it was just all time.
They actually
travel.
Have a line in it that made it. I think it was like right in the first 5 minutes where they go into the like the chamber, like the whatever, like the judge's chamber or whatever it is, and there and the first line that comes out of like the one who's doing like this inquisition is "make it make sense," and I was like, yes, please do that, please make it make sense, because none of this makes sense.
I have a friend that knows Hiddleston and was working on season 2, and she said to me, "Don't tell anyone, but I'm going to tell you anyway." She goes, "I spoke to him and I said, how do you think it's going so far?" And he said, "It's absolute rubbish." He said that he's like, "This is absolute rubbish, but the paycheck's good." I don't know whether he was. She said to me, she don't know whether he was joking. Or whether
Exclusive,
he was
everybody.
So there you go. So
He may have just got Tom Hiddleston fired somehow.
Make no mistake, right? the actors know exactly what they're getting themselves into.
Bollocks.
Yeah, and like Platoon said about Ahsoka, Loki is also a place A to place B series. This week he was being torn through time, so obviously place B is him not being torn through time. And while it tries to end up looking clever, it just ends up as a tired retread of time mechanics that were used in far greater effect during the Matt Smith era of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
But it's also got Short Round in it, so there's that.
Yeah,
He's
funny. Apparently, he's really funny.
There is that. It did feel better than season 1. It almost felt like something could be happening. Some care maybe with this season. Dark Hour.
The short round portion, as we'll call it, I think his name was Ouroboros. I think Obi.
Oscar winner. Let's not forget.
Yeah. Yes, Oscar. That was probably the only interesting aspect of the entire episode. That like when Loki was back in time and talking to him, and then they would cut back to like present, I guess we'll call it. He would now start remembering things that he didn't originally remember. That was a cool mechanic that they were working with, and like kind of like Z said, it's been done in better movies, but at least and shows, but at least they did it pretty well, and they did it pretty well with an actor who's who deserves it. But that's like the only aspect of it that I really enjoyed. The rest of it was a lot of talking, just a lot of talking, and no answers, just more questions.
There's also an element of like, oh, look how clever we can be with this mechanic. Isn't this mechanic really, really clever? Look, we're going to do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And then at the end of it, you say, okay, fine, pretty clever. Why? And then
they even broke the mechanic somewhat.
It's clever, and I don't know. It doesn't go. I've tried 4 times in the last 2 weeks to watch the Loki season 1. I hadn't seen it until the last 2 weeks, and I knew this was coming out, and I thought, well, I might review it. Well, I've tried 4 times to get through it. And the answer is no, still.
I was going to ask you,
I mean, any multiverses make me want to go all sweet Columbine at the best of times, but it's still like it's exceptionally pointless and shit. It's evidently really, really taken with this weird little mechanic thing that it's got going on, and I do not understand what the point or the purpose of it is. And I sat there watching it 4 times, thinking, do I actually need to try and make sense of this? Is there really any point? Is this going to go anywhere that's in any way satisfying? Probably not. So then I put season 1 of episode 2 on today, and the recap's there, and I said, does that make any sense? No, that doesn't make any sense either. So I'm just going to go and do something much more profitable with my time, like masturbate over roadkill or something.
That's it, everybody. Platoon's killed the stream. That's it. Let's go home.
I don't know. I think that's the most interesting thing that's ever been said on this channel, to be honest with you.
I'm going to clip that.
there's apparently we're learning about Platoon's very strange kinks.
Echo, are you in? I just want to go Echo. Are you into Loki at all?
No, not in the slightest. It's
the
the opposite, the antithesis of what I like from storytelling. I don't like multiverses. I don't like mechanics of time travel. I like to know what the rules are. So it's the opposite of what I look for.
After I had seen the episode, I put down in our I know we're getting bogged down. I put in the group chats this statement. Tom Hiddleston is the only thing I think that Marvel have got at the moment of any value.
Probably.
What about Blue Beetle?
That's in DC.
Oh, damn it.
And then shit.
I mean, they had
Hiddleston for the win, but he's not going to win.
It's probably the only thing they have left. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they had Guardians of the Galaxy, but that kind of fallen apart because of everything that happened with the director and all that.
Yeah.
They, obviously certain people have already left projects. I would say the next closest thing would be probably Hemsworth, but he seems like he has 1.5 feet out the door.
It's Brie.
Oh yeah.
See,
like it's just.
Cheers, Moloch. Always got my back. Cheers,
I was actually saying this the other day. I just feel like there's so many people's careers have come to die in the MCU. Whether it be because they just wanted to, have like one last paycheck or something, or it's just they got locked in forever and couldn't escape. It seems like a lot of people's careers are just not escaping this. Like,
here you go, folks. Mega Spider-Man. That Mr. Brownline says me, you don't think Hemsworth or Cumberbatch are still of value? Well, I do, but they've certainly fooked Thor, haven't they? and Doctor Strange.
Well, that's the thing as well, because they're superheroes. It's if anything is much more about the character than it is about the person who's playing them. So both Hemsworth and Cumberbatch in any other situation would be a big name draw. Compared to
Not
most of the
anymore.
actors in Marvel, they are still a big name draw. But the thing people are actually going to watch these shows for and these films for is the characters. It's the heroes. It's the people that these actors are embodying, which is, I think, one of the reasons some of the bigger name stars have kind of got a bit tired of them, is because they're not actually making much of a name for themselves by being like coterminous with Captain America. If you're what's his name, Chris Hemsworth,
Chris Evans.
one of the Chris's, that one, Evans, yeah.
Evans, not
and so
that one.
so they move on to do bigger and better things, because that's actually how you're going to make a name for yourself as an actor, as opposed to that's the guy who plays Captain America. And given what they've done with the characters of Thor and Doctor Strange and the last two films that they were a part of, I don't even know how much of a draw they're going to be. Comparatively, probably big, but compared to any given film in Marvel Phase 3, nah, not seeing it.
Thing is, as time goes by, people forget. You've got this new generation coming up. They don't have the same thing that we had when we saw Chris Evans play Captain America for the first time, or Robbie Downey Jr. play Iron Man for the first. They don't have that, so they've been presented with this crap, and we don't want this crap. So really, they're not going anywhere with any of the products they're actually producing at all, which I find really odd that they can't figure that one out.
What you're saying, it's shit then?
Oh God, yes.
Here you go. I think this goes back to Ahsoka. Duke 84 for £2. That's real money, folks. We got Bird Frog Crabman. Remember? Yeah,
we did. Just on Loki, there's another problem which I think Loki sums up quite well. My dad actually started watching season 2 because he had nothing else to do earlier today. And I said, how did you find? And he said, well, I hadn't got a clue what's going on. And I said, well, have you how much Marvel have you seen? I'm not that it makes much difference, but how much have you seen? And he's like, well, I kept thinking there were loads of references to stuff that I hadn't seen, and actually that's true, but that's only going to get exponentially more the more these shows come out, the more the films come out. It's such a big universe, and that's without even accounting for the various timeline pieces with the multiverse and things like that. The first time viewer to any Marvel thing, a young viewer who's not seen many of the old ones in the cinema, for example. Let's say Loki is their first introduction to it. What are they being bombarded with? Nonsensical multiverse
confusion,
yes. Events they haven't seen, or events they only half remember if they were too young to remember it properly at the time. It's such a big property, and it's been going for such a long time that the amount of back catalog is pretty much going to prohibit a lot of people getting on board now going forward, I think. So we're it's gonna reach that stage of critical mass where it's actually too big to continue. We might already be past that point, but I think if we're not, then that point's coming up quite soon.
It's like Ahsoka, isn't it? You've just got to do shitloads of homework to catch up.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually started to build the same problem that comic universes over the course of time have encountered. They do these branched universes in the comics and these reset events and all these things to bring in new readers, because when you go back to the 60s, it's like, okay, now I have to read set over 75 years worth of comics to catch up to where I'm at. No, I'm not, no one new is going to do that. And it's acquired the same problem that it had from its source material. And there's really no way out of that, unfortunately, without total reset.
You're right.
And on that bombshell, are we going to cover this, Lord? No, I'm not feeling it.
I honestly don't think I have the time or the inclination to make sense of it. So no. You go ahead if you want to, though.
Episode 1 on Wednesday would literally just be you guys going, they walked through a hall and he disappeared. And then he reappeared at the end of the hall. It would just be
several times. Yeah. No, I don't think we're going to cover it.
So, hold on, sorry. So does Loki get kicked in the balls again and punched?
No,
only in the summary at the beginning. From
okay, cool.
Okay. Oh, did he?
With the bird frog crab people, they had a meeting to decide with the audio effects people, and the meeting was, what should we make them sound like? And one person said, should we make them just sound like the Babu Frick people? And they said, yep, and that was the end of the meeting.
And on that bombshell, let's move on.
But one last thing. Has Benedict Cumberbatch ever done a role which has blown you away? Is he a great actor when he's doing his high-class quality roles?
I'd have to go and look at everything he was in.
Power of the Dog.
No, it was rubbish.
He was so amazing in Star Trek Into Darkness.
I think he's a pretty good character actor. I think like he falls on, like, to me, he kind of falls under that, you know. But like he doesn't.
Sherlock.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, Sherlock's
no
probably
shit.
the best. He doesn't really get above the character, if that's what you're asking. A lot of the time,
He's not quite in that top tier, is he?
no, like he doesn't transcend the role. I think if I'm understanding your question correctly, he kind of gets stuck. Like he has a ceiling that he hits a lot of times.
Yeah. You go, not Brian. Hello, not Brian. Careful, Cumbersnatch is Brown's pal. Yeah, I've actually met Cumbersnatch.
I mean, I think he's still good at what he does. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's had that thing that has made him upper echelon. So to say.
He's got a good presence on the screen. He has a distinctive face and he has an impressive voice. And he trades on all three of those things. But whenever I've seen him in character roles, he just tends to sort of overact them, I think. The best thing I've seen him in is actually not film. It was theater. I saw he was in Frankenstein. He was dovetailing in the role of Frankenstein and the monster with, I can't remember the other guy's name, but he was playing the monster in the one I saw. And he was actually kind of good as the monster. And I think, you could see why he was so keen to do all the mocap stuff for Smaug, even though they didn't need him to do that, because he plays that sort of visceral, almost body horror stuff quite well. But otherwise, he has a few natural assets, but I don't really know how talented he is. He's good, but
yeah, I think he's good.
Brilliant, not sure.
I think he was on this trajectory. He was on this trajectory to be getting into that upper echelon, and I just feel like kind of that ship is sailing a little bit.
Sherlock is the best thing he's ever done so far to date. Because he brought a different dimension to Sherlock, definitely, and the TV makers did as well. So Sherlock is the best thing he's ever done. So I've seen him in films like Imitation Game and stuff like that. He's just him, really, in that, and it's just his presence is not that big on screen at all. I think Keira Knightley kind of walked all over him performance-wise in that movie, but he is what he is.
This is what I love about this channel. I'll put a still of basically short rounds saying everybody thinks he's good in Loki season 2, and we go on about Cumbersnatch. So we agreed Cumberbatch is not bad, but he's not brilliant.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah, okay. I think he just got into the MCU just a little too late for it to like catapult him like some other people
didn't see the last Doctor Strange, didn't care. Okay, so we'll just quickly go over this Loki again. Everybody's saying short round's fantastic in it, so stealing the show. So
he has a very distinct style that he's now kind of added to it's the voice, it's the way he talk, like not just the voice, the cadence of his speaking, how he does these. It's so unique that he's definitely going to end up in a situation where
sitcom.
If you want what
sitcom,
yeah, I mean part of what he sounded a lot like the character he played in Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's in this episode, like the way that well, I'm saying but even like the way he was like talking really fast and purposely like fumbling back on things, and it was very similar to that, which I wouldn't be shocked if they just told him, hey, just go do that,
just be yourself.
He's got very animated body language. His hands, face
still sounds like he's 12 though. That's the thing.
Yeah, he could play short round again tomorrow.
Should have been in Indiana Jones and the whatever of Dial of
the Diary of Dysentery.
The Dial of Despair.
Instead of that stupid woman.
Oscar winner, everybody. They missed a trick. Anyway, let's move on. Anybody see this? The gaming, everybody. I know nothing about gaming, but Bungie are in trouble for using certain hot words. Anybody see this?
Yeah, I saw this.
What did you think, Echo?
Well, it's that weird thing because in polls, poll after poll, Hispanic people, Latin people in America, they either haven't heard of the term Latinx. About 2/3 of them haven't even heard of the term, and only about 3% of them actually use the term for themselves. And so there's this weird dynamic where companies like this in the interests of diversity, equity, and inclusion, will try and use these terms in their marketing and promotions and initiatives. And you get these weird, strange backlashes because the people you're trying to do it on behalf of aren't especially disposed towards the term itself. So it's a strange disconnect.
It's not even that they don't use it themselves, it's that actually by a super majority, they hate the idea. So they don't just not use it, they don't want anyone else to use it because lo and behold, you can't degender a Romance language. It's absolutely, exactly. Who ever thought that was a possibility? I don't know. But it's a remarkable disconnect, and it's a hilarious disconnect as well because it's such an obvious reach by HR departments and progressive politicians who want to seem, so very, very right on, that they will actually trample over the wishes of the people they claim they want to help and impose language on them that they don't want to use. It's great fun to watch, but the sooner it dies, the better.
So the idea generally is that if you have Latino or Latina, because it's gendered, because it's a Romance language, but we don't want to have a focus on gender, so we make it more neutral to current day it. So that's the understanding. The thing that grinds my gears, which I think you're talking about, Platoon, is the idea that if you have activism within a community, that's great, that's fine. But when that community then tries to create and then impose other language onto communities outside it, then there's something kind of prissy about that. Like the trans community, great, fine, that term. But then you don't need to create the term cisgender and then impose it upon the vast generality. Sometimes the generality is just the generality.
It used to be a sign of sort of, I guess, kind of politeness, because I was on the left back when I was at uni, so it's not even that long ago, but I was, fairly far on the left and used to hang around with, radical people and
Owen Jones?
Particular interest. No, never liked he was always an insufferable twat, so I never really got on with him. But
this week he's been very good, yes.
He used to hang around, people who were big on Kurdish independence and things like that, or at least like Kurdish nationalists or people who stood up for the rights of Kurds against whatever state the Kurds happen to find themselves in, Iran, Iraq, Syria, whatever. But it always used to be a sign of politeness that you do not ever, ever get more radical than the people that you're claiming to support. Because, what are you doing this for? Are you doing this for your own edification and your own virtue, or are you doing it because you're actually supporting people's actual demands for themselves? And the minute you start going, well, I don't actually care what my Kurdish comrades say, for example, I want Kurdish separation, Kurdish nationalism, Kurdish independence, then you're, well, that's not for them then, is it? That's you being you, trying to outdo your friends in the fashion stakes, and that's all it really devolves into. And then, of course, I wised up and realized that most left-wing stuff was all about fashion anyway, so I left. But it was interesting at the time, and it's the same thing with the Latinx thing. These are people who want to seem to be more radical and fashionably radical than the people that they claim to speak for, and it really just exposes the hollowness of their ideology, or what they claim is their ideology anyway.
And as a follow up to that, it's not a youthful thing either. Like if you go to the 18 to 35 demographic amongst the Hispanic population, the number who use the term Latinx only rises to about 7%. From 3% of the overall. So it's not like there's this huge groundswell of, social change that needs to be answered to it. So it's just so strange.
Bigger folks, Red Sai. We are all left wing until we grow up.
Nah.
No.
No, I used to get yelled at in like middle school because I by other kids because I was extremely conservative for like an 11-year-old. So it was really strange.
I think the problem is I was having a conversation with the old fella today. He's 95, voted Labour all his life, left. And I tried to explain to him that the left nowadays is something totally different to what he was when he was a kid or when I was growing up. It's just gone so far into outer space. It's just unbelievable. So anyway, okay.
Well, I've always been fundamentally liberal, but I just get so frustrated with the left's inability to distinguish, let alone police, the differences between liberalism that's robust and dynamic on the one hand, and on the other hand, that's prissy and strident and flaky. And it's just the inability to distinguish between those, or to even think there could be those two categories amongst so many people I know is so frustrating.
Yeah, I was listening to the guy from the Lotus Eaters today, on the Rubin report. I think he said that the left has just become like this communist movement.
It's also that, but it's also, as Echo says, like you get the terminological confusion because we've now adopted the American use of the term liberal to mean left wing, which means we don't actually have a word for people who, I mean, I would consider myself a liberal, but if you go around telling people you're a liberal, people assume you're a communist because that's what Americans use the term to mean. So
you're welcome.
It's not. Yeah, thank you very much for that. You've done a great service to political philosophy by expunging a whole third of it.
Yes, that's what we do. We're really good at taking a thing and going, no, there's only two sides. There's Republicans and Democrats, Coke, Pepsi, McDonald's, Burger King. That's all you get.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if there's a third or fourth or fifth option.
Well, I'm kind of left of center, which I think in today's terms means I'm a Nazi.
Yes.
Oh,
yes, you are.
Anyway,
I will say this though. I was going to say that just to piggyback on that, it does seem as though what are we using the term left or liberal? Which term am I supposed to say now? I don't know. Platoon just got mad at me.
So, it depends who you're referring to
and what country you come from.
Well, I'm the only one from the United States here, so I'm having this issue. But okay, well, the side that we're saying sucks right now. They do this like locust thing where it's like they go from cause to cause, kind of suck it dry of its usefulness for their, I think you said fashionableness.
Yeah, agree with
and then they just move on to the next thing, and they leave that cause completely as a hollow husk with nobody supporting it anymore because no one cares. It's because they didn't care to begin with. It was just fun to do for a little while.
But they do it with pop culture as well. It's the same dynamic
pop culture,
at play, so that they will infect a franchise, they will drive it toward their political position, but then because they never cared about the thing, they just abandon it and then leave it as this husk. It's like Rings of Power is a really good example of that. Everybody really, really wanted Rings of Power to be one particular thing. They made it that particular thing, and then because they never really gave a shit about the thing to begin with, they just went on to do something else and left this awful series in their wake, which was completely empty of content.
Which kind of answers Mega Geek's question from earlier as to how it happened with Star Wars. It actually answers your question from that.
And Star Trek.
Cheers.
Well, I'm saying the question specifically was about Star Wars.
May I do some super chats, please? Then we'll move on. Okay, Peter Pidrak for $5. Hello, Peter. I get to start watching, Ahsoka from the beginning. My daughter came over for a visit and wants to see it.
Is it too late to get her adopted?
That would be a hell of a response.
I know a lot of people that like Ahsoka.
Dave Filoni. That's taking the father-daughter dynamic. That's pushing it. Okay, but you go for it, mate. MJuke84, £2, real money, folks. Cumberbatch is no Neil Breen.
Who's looking after Sabine's cat?
It's dead.
It's dead, isn't it?
It's not even resting, everybody.
It's got a droid, I think, looking after it. Who knows?
Ego Wayland Persephus for $2. Hiddleston should have been cast as Daemon Targaryen.
Ooh, what?
That is a House of the Dragon reference.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I think at this point he's just getting paid to barely have to really do anything different. So why bother?
Yeah, I mean the check must be really big.
They want to hold on to him at all costs, so it's got to be a big check.
Yeah, he's got a kid as well to support now. So
not a bad call, but he doesn't quite have the staunch presence of the current actor. But good close second.
Let's move on. Ego. Ooh. So now this is a charm. I kind of realized that this is a charm offensive. James Gunn shares photos of Superman comics decorated at the Superman Legacy Art Department offices.
Do you just think this has all been a setup as a photo op? Because it sure looks like that.
I can tell you it was, because the majority of these issues mean nothing. Why would they have them? Like most of these are not.
They're completely random, aren't they?
Random. They're not key issues of any kind for the most part. I don't understand why they would use these ones. So this definitely looks like whatever we had lying around that around.
They're trying to keep us interested, aren't they, on what he's doing with Superman Legacy, and obviously they've got nothing to report, so they put this up.
I have more. I have currently more interesting issues of Superman behind me, like on my shelf, than a lot of these ones. So this doesn't seem like it's. I don't know.
Echo. Are you interested in Superman?
It's never really connected with me in these modern iterations. He's never been a character that interests me because I don't really like characters who are all powerful. I just kind of find them a little bit boring. So it's just kind of passed me by.
Also, no. Then anybody interested? I
No.
don't think we don't care, do we? Do we?
No.
I mean, I just they should hire me to do a better display. That's all I have to say. I can do it.
I mean, Chris Reeves' film wasn't perfect, but it was probably the best Superman reiteration as it stands now, in my opinion.
Oh, and it was the right movie at the right time.
Yeah.
Number one and number two, especially, like those two. I mean, the third and fourth one were obviously not that great, but
Here you go, folks. Iceman Da Doctor Gary from Nerdrotic probably shits better Superman comics than these issues.
Probably.
The other thing, I guess, at a deeper level is that when Superman came out, it was from an America where you could talk and think in sort of moral absolutes and like the moral absolute hero. And it just kind of feels a little bit kind of redundant right now.
But the thing is, though, that still exists. It's just the people in charge don't like it. See, if I made a Superman movie today, I would definitely have him say truth, justice, and the American way, because that is what Superman's all about. That's what I would do. But it's not. It seems like the powers that be won't allow that to happen, which is a shame, really, because they're actually stripping what Superman is really all about, in my opinion. Of course.
Yeah. Dead on Arrival, is it?
No, it'll be all right. It'll make money, but it won't be as good as we think it's going to be, or it just won't be good.
Yeah. Okay. I can't remember if this is a sidestep, folks. Bear with me.
it is.
They say.
Okay. James Gunn confirms most future DC projects will be shot largely in London. Superman Legacy is being shot in many places across the world, but our home base is in Atlanta.
Okay.
It's cheaper
Atlanta.
to over here, isn't it? It's cheaper.
The Hollywood of the East Coast, Atlanta. That's not a joke. That's actually a lot of things are filmed in Atlanta. So
If you want to get shot in the UK, London is the best place to do it.
It is. Yeah, it is definitely.
I think Fantastic Four is going to be shot in London as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper, tax breaks and all. Yeah, tax break. Either that or Vancouver. You know.
Good exchange rate as well, isn't it?
Well, as it stands, I don't know.
Okay.
He does. Does James Gunn? Is it just the fact that I see more of it, or does James Gunn talk an awful lot more than anybody else in his like equivalent position?
He does.
He never seems to shut up.
Probably.
I understand the publicity stuff from the previous slide because if you've been told for so long that one of the things that disenchants fans is that the directors don't seem to listen to them or care about them or even care about the source material, then obviously the quickest, cheapest way to do that is to go all in on showing that, yeah, actually you're aware that comics exist, for example, and fans are important and that you want to answer their questions. So he's trying quite blatantly to win support. I wonder whether he's maybe saying a bit too much, though, and sort of protesting too much.
Because there's nothing he can talk about with Superman or anything to do with DC. That's why they're putting this stuff out. It's non-news. That's what I call it. It really is. It's just them talking.
While I remember Loki season 2 was shot at Pinewood as well.
out of curiosity, just a bit from the last slide, I just reached behind me to see which Superman comic I could pull out, and I have the debut issue of Mongol on my shelf. That was what was sitting there, and that's more important than pretty much everything they showed in that last slide. Ironically,
cool, very good.
Yeah, it's well, you couldn't see it. I had to illustrate it for everybody out in the chat though.
Sorry, folks. It's I thought this week was quite a busy news week, but I just don't think it's the right news, is it? Moving on.
It's news.
Is that what you call it? Okay, yeah. Right. Here we go then. The Fantastic Four have been cast and will be announced once the strike is over.
I think it's going to be all about Sue Storm, don't you guys? Hey, it's going to be all about Sue Storm. It's not going to be about anything else.
Possibly.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Well, is it because she's the invisible girl and all she really wants to do is be seen?
They will not call her the Invisible Girl, guaranteed, 100%.
No, woman. They'll call it Invisible Woman. Or
you can't do that.
Yeah, then they. I don't know.
The erased girl.
Yeah. Who's playing her though? That'd be interesting to see who's playing her.
Well, we wouldn't know yet because
We won't see
it
it
be announced.
she's invisible, isn't she?
I reckon it's Matt Smith playing Mr. Fantastic. That'll be interesting if they did cast Matt Smith.
I mean, if they really wanted to for Fantastic Four, they could get away with just casting 3 people and say that she's invisible the whole time, and just have people play off of a non-existent actress. Just
you go, Jim D. Amy Schumer for Sue Storm. Fingers crossed. Oh yes.
What about Melissa McCarthy?
Oh God. I don't think the fantastic what is that fantastic machine they got flying around in a bathtub? I don't think
the Fantastic Car.
That's it. I don't think it'll be able to move yet. The two of them in there.
84. Matt Smith will be the Invisible Girl.
Probably.
Well, Brie Larson's at a loose end.
Oh God. Just keep the boots on, love.
Yeah, you go, Bishop Moore, to quote Mega Geek, what's that say, Ian?
It'll be shit.
Yeah. Fantastic Four tends to be one of the harder adaptations to do because it is one of the most comic booky of comic books. It really works in that medium better than anything else. So it ends up having a situation where you're trying to replicate something you can't possibly do.
But it can be done though, in my opinion. I mean, like for instance, I always found that they always miss out on things. Like for instance, the Spider-Man film missed out on Peter Parker's humor. Spider-Man's humor. They had a bit of it with Tom Holland, but in the comics, I remember when I was a kid, I used to read Spider-Man. He used to make me laugh by the things he said. And the same thing with The Thing. The Thing was hilarious in the 70s version of Fantastic Four. And I think that's what they got to do. They've got to add a lot of humor in it. They've got to realize what it's a bit cheesy, the Fantastic Four. Don't go down the path of the old Fantastic Four movies, but add a good danger in it, have a bit of humor, cast well. And it should work.
I think the problem with that, though, is that every other property has gone in for slightly cheesy humor. That's now synonymous with the superhero genre. And it's one of the really annoying things is that it's very hard to differentiate between characters who are supposed to be funny and characters who are not, because every single one of them jokes all the goddamn time. Yeah, so they've denied the opportunity. They've denied the Fantastic Four or Spider-Man, by the sounds of things, the opportunity to actually be unique characters because they've given all of their lines to other people.
No, but what I'm saying is that it has to be different kind of humor, and the only person that's meant to be is supposed to be humorous in Fantastic Four is The Thing. If everybody spouts one-liners, then it's just going to be silly. It's going to be like the usual Marvel stupid humor. There's got to be one person that's funny, and that's Ben Grimm, right?
So the humor style of the MCU only really works specifically for what you're saying for Ben Grimm, because he does actually, one of the reasons why he's like humorous, so to say, is because he's covering for the fact he's one of the characters who has probably the worst story in all of Marvel. Stan Lee had stated that of all of the characters he ever created, Ben Grimm was his favorite, and that's because he was able to play around with this sort of, monster character who really is a good person but doesn't get treated right and has to mask that because he's a good person, so he masks it with humor. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why he's similar to that. The humor of a Mr. Fantastic is that he's completely disconnected from like reality, essentially. Like he talks like a person that spends all their time in a computer lab and doesn't interact with people. So it's like some of the comedic aspects of what he does which actually theoretically should be the easiest thing for something to write in Hollywood right now, because that's pretty much how everybody acts, but is different from what Ben Grimm does, and is different from Human Torch, who is more of like the brash sort of does stupid shit. Yeah, this show off does stupid shit for the sake of doing it, and it gets them in more trouble. Each one of them has their own comedic style. The problem is that they do like Platoon was saying, they kind of blend them into one, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's what I think, and I think they need to all be separate. Human Torch needs to be the teenager that doesn't listen, that basically, does stupid things. Ben Grimm is the funny one. Sue Storm is the one that's in love with Mr. Fantastic, can't take her eyes off him. Mr. Fantastic is the computer. That if you got that right and not make everybody have one-liners, it should, in theory, work, in my opinion. But anyway.
Well, it's the guy who did WandaVision who's
Oh God, it's
directing
going to be
this.
shit then. It's going to be shit.
Yeah. Okay, some super chats, if I may. Romeo Tango November Zulu for $5 NZ. Hale Brown panel and chat. Not watching Loki at all. Any chance of a classic movie stream like the excellent RoboCop stream? Cheers. Possibly.
You can always check out Two Hoes. That's a thing. I know that our RTNZ watches it. So
yeah, we need to do some movie streams. I'm out of practice. Here you go. Maximum Overdrive Voomfondel for $10. Yo, Brownie et al. Any Halloween stuff coming up?
We should do The Exorcist. That's what we should do for Halloween.
Yeah, that would actually be probably a good one to do.
I think I've only seen it once, and
It's
that
a
was
great
when
movie.
that was
Even more the reason to do it then, Brent.
Yeah. And also,
was when I
the
was
second one's
young.
coming out, isn't it? Well, the second
Yeah,
one.
it's
actually-
It's not doing very well.
It's like the fifth one. It's not the second one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We'll do Exorcist for Halloween then.
You might be doing one on B-Sub at some point this week, given it seems to be a slow news week. We did do Halloween last week, which somehow lasted for fucking 6 hours.
If you're going to do that, Ben,
So-
let me on, Ben, because I love The Exorcist.
I don't know if we'll do
everything
The
about
Exorcist, but
Oh,
we'll
for
do
God's
a horror
sakes.
film.
Uninspired and me have it's technically I'm not sure if you call it a horror film, but we have Shaun of the Dead coming up in a couple of weeks.
Good film.
That's a good film.
If you want on Platoon, we probably could get you on there.
When?
I'll let you know later. We'll
Okay.
I'll have to look up the situation. And
Oh, here you go. See, yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah,
The
that one's
Omen's a
good.
good film. Yeah, The Omen.
Oh,
But that's very
I-
Hollywoodish. Exorcist
I even like Omen 2 as well.
Exorcist was
Yeah,
was
The
something
Omen,
else.
yeah.
Do you know?
The Omen
The
really
Omen.
bothered me. Like I remember
The
seeing it
Omen.
as a kid. The
Oh.
Omen really made me like because I like the scene with all the scenes with all the dogs and stuff. It was-
Yeah.
He was
Okay.
born of a dog, wasn't he?
He
Remember
was.
that bit where they went
Yeah.
to the graveside and opened it? Oh, horrible.
Let's move on then, because we've got a lot of slides. Oh, anybody see this?
Yes.
New Daredevil Born Again details revealed in uncovered copyrights. Registration includes, I don't know what this means. Female Urich.
Ben Urich was
Urich.
the if you remember the guy who was like the reporter in the first season who died, he was choked
black
up
guy.
to death by. That's Ben Urich. He was he was in the comics. He was
He's white.
he was white, but he also worked for the Daily
Daily
Planet.
Bugle.
That's
Daily
right, the Daily
Bugle.
Sorry, Bugle.
Bugle.
Sorry.
Race replaced Kirsten McDuffie and Joe. What's that?
John Bernthal return as the Punisher.
Return as the Punisher.
It's going to be shit.
Oh yes. I'm
You
not
know it's
looking
gonna
forward
be
to this
shit.
at all, and I love
Yeah.
Daredevil.
I love Born Again. The Born Again comics, one of the best comics ever written. in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Oh, dear.
It's probably the best Daredevil story of all time.
Yeah, it is.
I would go out on a limb and say that.
And they're going to screw it. They really are.
Well, she screwed him.
Don't know why.
Well, he couldn't see her, so
Oh, dark hour.
I mean, he's blind.
Oh,
It's the whole point. He's a man without fear. He had no fear of what was going to happen. I'll be here all week.
stream killer, everybody.
I think I just saved this slide. I don't think I killed anything.
Wait a moment. How could I have a female Ben Urich?
No, I think what they're saying is that it's going to be a female Urich of like his family, because he died.
Okay.
If it's continuing the same continuity, which they've now gone back on like 3 times. At first, it was no, it's different continuity. Then it was we're going to keep it. So I don't know where they are in that
Right.
you know.
You go,
Flow.
Bridget Moore. I think this is a spelling mistake. New Daredevil will be a big bag of.
Well, if Rennie was here, it would be a big bag of dicks, wouldn't it? Yeah, the big bag of poo.
Yeah, I don't think the chat are not hopeful about this.
No.
Guys,
It's a real shame, really, because
I don't know what to say, guys.
Because Born Again could have been fantastic if it was under different management. It really could, but I don't trust Disney or any of these people to do justice to Born Again.
I mean, Daredevil is just a character that doesn't work in a PG environment.
That's right.
Just like Punisher doesn't work in a PG environment. There's certain so that's the thing is when Disney bought Marvel, they bought, yes, you have your Spider-Mans and your characters that you can make work in those situations, Captain America. But there's ones that that doesn't apply to. And unfortunately, they try to cram a square peg into a round hole all the time and put it in the Disney bin.
Nerdrotic says Daredevil is the best series ever.
MCU.
Yeah, he's a massive fan of
Daredevil.
Yeah, I loved
season 1. Absolutely.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I thought the iteration of the Kingpin was absolutely fantastic. Great casting. The whole thing was casted really well. It was done in a way where you can accept a blind man beating the crap out of people. It was really good. It was really good, and it's a shame it's not remembered as one of the best things in the MCU. You know
I still think that it's the way that he took damage throughout the series, and he had to fight through all that. It's still some of the best learned experience I've ever seen in any.
But that was all Frank Miller. That was all Frank Miller. He did when he took over from Daredevil. He made Daredevil a real person in the comics rather than the Stan Lee version of Daredevil. So it's all Frank Miller.
Echo, were you a Daredevil fan?
No, I'd rather masturbate to Roadkill, I think, than watch.
Twice on one stream, everybody. Okay, so we're not hoping any. Well, we haven't got any hope, have we?
I would just say, just read the comic. If you have if you have any interest in this at all, just read the comic and do yourself a favor.
The comic's like a movie. If you buy the version where all the comics are all stuck together, obviously like the
collected edition.
Yeah, the collected. If you look at the panels and stuff, it's like a movie. It's really good, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mean like a storyboard style?
Yeah, the storyboard, the bit where Kingpin's on his boat, and you have that sunset thing. I mean, absolutely pretty. Imagine doing it on film. It'd be amazing. But anyway.
I think actually Andrew likes Daredevil. His peak superhero storytelling. I will beat the fuck out of Born Again.
I don't know how that works, but go on.
Well, we'll find out if this is poop. Anyway, it's going to be poop. Let's move on. I wonder if she'll be in it.
I hope not.
I hope not. They ruined Daredevil and She-Hulk by making him a booty call.
Walk of shame, everybody. The walk of shame.
It's absolute crap, wasn't it? Oh, Blue Mouse.
It was. Okay. To keep costs down, Blumhouse Films cast are kept to a small amount. Waiters don't speak in our movies, say Jason Blum, because if a guild actor says even one word, it would cost us $800.
You know what? That's a really good. Ever since they started, they were obsessed with making films for 5 million. I mean, they were, and they did. And so I think that's a really good benchmark for other production companies to look at, because you can make a crap load of money on a low budget film, and you can make a low budget film look bigger than the amount of money that they spent on it. So it's a good lesson to all the big production companies around, in my opinion.
I give them
there you go.
a lot of leeway because they're doing good things. So I give them a lot of leeway. Like Megan, that came out of Blumhouse, and the Black Phone that came out of Blumhouse.
Fantastic.
So why are they doing this weird misstep with this Exorcist film? Because that's out of them as well, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they can't get everything right. I mean, they're doing their
Halloween
best.
Ends.
Halloween was shit. Yeah. Yes, I'm saying, but they at least they're trying, at least, and the majority of the stuff they've coughed out have been really entertaining. So my hat goes off to them if I had one. You know what I mean? So there you
Well,
go.
you've got one on your avatar.
I know. Yeah,
Is that false advertising?
it is. That's my Texas hat. Would you believe?
I was massively disappointed with Halloween Ends. What a
I didn't actually see it. So.
And Firestarter. Firestarter was crap as well.
Anyway, okay, let's move on because we have got a ton of slides, folks.
Here we go.
Did anybody see this? Kevin Costner mortgaging his home and spending 20 million of his own money on a two-part summer release in a genre that usually bombs at the box office. As his wife is leaving him in some lunatic comment to cinema shit, even Coppola would be like, let's think about this. Basically, in a nutshell, is making a Western.
Yeah, but what is it about?
It's an
Maybe he
American
just,
saga, clearly.
Maybe he just saw Harrison Ford in Yellowstone and thought, well, shit, I can do that too.
Well, I mean, he's always been fond of Westerns, Kevin Costner. I mean, the last one he made, was it the one that flopped big time? And they made a similar
Dances
film.
with Wolves?
No, not that one, because that was a bit racist. That film. Anyway, oh God, what was that film called? The one where it was Doc Holliday and all that.
Cowboys?
No, Doc Holliday was in it. Oh God, what was it?
Tombstone?
Tombstone. Yeah, Tombstone came out, and then his film came out. They're both on the same subject. What was his version called?
White Earp.
White Earp. Yeah, do you remember that one? White Earp. That one. He's always been into Westerns.
Here's the thing about this, though. I mean, he's kind of knee deep in this kind of genre to begin with Yellowstone as it is.
Yeah.
So like he's probably just like might as well try to keep this ball rolling.
I do like
Yellowstone's been one of the most consistently watched series at least in the United States for a while now.
Paramount, isn't it?
Okay, I'm gonna stick my neck out here. I watched the trailer for this, and you know what? I just thought, you know what, guys? I actually fancy going to the theatre, the cinema, to actually watch a Western because I like Westerns.
Yeah, I do. I don't mind them.
I like them in small doses.
I did like Tombstone. I thought Tombstone was really entertaining.
It's one of those genres.
Yeah,
it's one of those genres that always seems to make a small comeback every so often.
Yeah.
Well, the marketplace is certainly wants something new. What do you think, guys?
He's spending 20 million on this of his own money, as nobody else putting money in it. Because if he's spending 20 million, he's going to get that back just on his name alone, where other countries will just buy his film because it's Kevin Costner.
Well, it must be good because Warner Brothers are putting it out.
Well, there you go. So, his quid's in so far. Whether the film's good enough, who knows?
Cinema release as well.
Well, we'll see, right?
What's it say there? June 2024 and August 2024. Wow.
2 parts.
Oh, so they're doing them back. That's usually they separate that out by at least a year. I've said in the past though that I if you're having a 2-parter, I mean this might be a little too close for this in my opinion, but I think that you should always do, if you can, you should do them in the same calendar year.
Well, bear in mind that when films get released in the cinema, how long do they last these days? What is it? If it's really successful, it's like 2 months. If it isn't, we're talking about 5 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
If it's Disney, it goes straight to video on demand. If it's Disney,
so it sounds like a good idea that he's releasing them with that space of time, because if you really enjoy the first part, you're gonna go and see the second part, right? So that's
it could set, if it does work well, it could set a new standard for how they do it. Because a lot of films do this part 1, part 2 thing. And often like I said, you have to wait a year or even more sometimes. And if they're filmed together, it's like, I would say 6 months would probably be better, but if he wants to do it in 3, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
I think I'm going to go watch it. I'm partial to a Western.
I do like Kevin Costner though.
Yeah, same here.
I think he's a good actor.
I can see a Western doing surprisingly well sort of in this current media environment as well, because they tend to be fairly uncomplicated. There are exceptions, but fairly uncomplicated, quite true gritty, to borrow a phrase. And
Nice.
they use old-fashioned values, and it's usually rugged individualism as against the state, as against everything around you. Whether nature is oppressing you or whether the sheriff is oppressing you, there's always something that you have to overcome. And by virtue of being that sort of uncomplicated individualist tale, I can see sort of in the current landscape, something like that would probably be quite well received. It's not, I hope, going to try and do anything very complicated message-wise. It'll just be a character piece with lots of grit and determination, and people like that sort of thing when everything else they see is supposed to be lecturing them or pounding them over the head with the message.
I think Kevin Costner always makes a mistake when he makes westerns. Like, for instance, if you compare Wyatt Earp to Tombstone had that fantastical element about it, about Doc Holliday and stuff like that. And then Wyatt Earp had this realistic thing about it. And that's the thing. I think if he's going to do a realistic thing, I think he's making a mistake. I mean, the Clint Eastwood westerns were great because that had that fantasy element about Clint Eastwood being the fastest drawer and cool and stuff like that. He needs to do that with this film. I don't know what this film is about, but westerns need to be like that to reach the audience faster, in my opinion.
Watch the trailer, you might find out. Here you go, M-Chuke84. This is for you, Ian. Broke Back Horizon. I can't quit you.
I can't quit you.
Quit you. Okay. Right. So
I like westerns when they're used as a background for exploring interesting psychological tensions. The idea of wide expanses of territory, society which is a little untamed, that kind of thing. I think there's a lot of scope for Cormac McCarthy novels. He's the guy who wrote The Road and what's the other one? So he's got tons of
Blood
books.
Meridian.
Yeah, Blood Meridian, something like that. It's just like gritty realism and people drifting in these kind of liminal states of this new territory. So I think it'd be great. I really want to see that.
I do you remember Pale Rider? That ending was worth the admission alone when he took on those. But that's what I'm saying. I think people, they just want to go to cinema to enjoy themselves. They don't want a history lesson about America's. They just want to go and see someone kick ass. That's what I think.
Wouldn't it be ironic if westerns took over from superheroes? Because same fate happened to westerns. They just fizzled out, didn't they? But anyway, okay, let's move on.
Chris Rock. Is he going to get slapped again? What's going on?
Well, I don't know. A Martin Luther King Jr. biopic is in the works with Chris Rock set to direct.
Okay.
I know who I want to star. Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I think he'd do it well. He'd do well.
God, wouldn't that be amazing? If
I mean, he was the last samurai. He might as well be this.
Wouldn't it be amazing if Chris Rock had the balls to just say, "Yeah, Tom Cruise"? Fucking, I'd love that.
I would really like someone to play Martin Luther that actually looks like Martin Luther. You know what I mean? I hate it when you do a biography and then basically the guy they get to cast or the girl that gets cast looks nothing like the person in real life. It just takes me out of it.
Will Smith?
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Looked. Yes, I'm saying took me out of it completely. Totally watching. Was it Ali? Was it called Ali? It was terrible.
Speaking of which, doesn't it surely have to be Mahershala Ali would be the right guy?
Well, he has to put on a bit of weight, I guess.
I wonder if they're gonna actually so. There's some stuff that's often swept under the rug about.
They got Leslie Jones.
Martin Luther King Jr. and his escapades. Let's just call him that. Through the years, and I wonder if they're actually going to address that or if they're just going to leave it out fully and have it just be this guy had no flaws kind of thing. I'm very curious about that.
It would be really disappointing if they did, because some of the flaws are really, really interesting. And Martin Luther King, like Gandhi, they're two really useful figures for reminding everybody that it's okay to have heroes as long as you don't worship them, because they both have very deep flaws. So everyone associates Gandhi with marches for peace before Martin Luther King. Very few people remember that Gandhi was a Hindut for nutter who basically let the Japanese do his fighting for him and slept with his niece to test his ability to get erections. And no one really remembers those facts about Gandhi. But it doesn't detract from the fact that he's this iconic world historic figure. But lots of people get trapped in this hero worshipping cult. Same thing with Martin Luther King. probably was a little bit too close with the communists, probably did forge his doctoral dissertation. So, Dr. Martin Luther King is perhaps not the best title for him. Was infidelitous, probably wasn't very nice to women. There are lots of other things in his backstory which make him a much more fleshed out, well-rounded character. And it pays, I think, to understand the nuances of the people that lead history. It's a very important thing to do.
You can't have that, though. You know that the filmmakers, if the filmmakers making a film of Martin Luther King, they don't, they're going to be talking to the relatives. You know that it's going to be a middle ground when they make things like that. Look at the Queen. What is it? Bohemian Rhapsody. I mean, it was absolutely nothing. The way that happened in the film didn't happen in real life at all. So, do you know what I mean? And Queen was in charge. They were like, no, you can't say that. The bit where, what's his name? Mercury had that huge party and everyone was sniffing coke and all that crap. Never had that in the film. Queen, vetoed it. They said, no, you can't have that. So it's the same thing's going to happen with this as well. We both know that, be nice if they could mention everything, but anyway.
That Freddie Mercury party would have been pretty sensational. He had little people, dwarves with like cocaine trays on their heads.
But you can see how it could spoil the image of Queen, and that's why they didn't want it in there. So
could Peter Dinklage have starred in that?
Actually, I think Peter Dinklage should. I'm changing my vote. Peter Dinklage for Martin Luther King Jr.
Well, he fucked it up for the Seven Dwarfs. So anyway, let's move on.
Speaking of Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I did not know this. Tom Cruise almost starred as the lead in Pacific Rim, but the deal fell through.
There's a couple of Pacific Rim related stories this week, because the other one was that they lost the chance to have, was it Del Toro who directed the first one?
Yes.
He was meant to be doing the second one, but they didn't book the soundstage in time, and so he had to go away and do something else. And consequently, we got Pacific Rim 2, which is that's an experience.
Yeah,
I do like the first one.
I didn't really like the first. I thought it was okay. I didn't think
it was mid. I don't think adding Tom Cruise would have improved the script any.
No,
it would have improved their box office. That's for sure. Because if I recall correctly, the first one did pretty bad.
Like no one could be
made enough
with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
No, I'm a massive fan of. Was it Guillermo del Toro movies?
Yeah.
He's a great director.
Yeah, fantastic.
But I will never miss the opportunity whenever a Pacific Rim story comes up to say, if you did like this and you live in the West, then Gundam is better and you should be watching that instead. And there's actually a Gundam Seed film coming out next year. Kira Yamato is the lead in Gundam Seed. He's pretty much the progenitor of Space Jesus. He is unstoppable, and it's the most beautifully, deliciously teeny, angsty thing ever put to screen, but I kind of love it for that reason. That's coming out next year. That'll be better than Pacific Rim. Or hell, go watch Neo Genesis Evangelion, because that's also very good. Ditch Transformers. Pacific Rim is okay, but in the field of mech, then Neo Genesis and Gundam are the best.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but it sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Here you go. I'll do a super chat, folks.
I adored Pacific Rim. I still love it.
Yeah,
it's got a real place in my heart. I remember one of you saying it was either the funniest stupid film ever made or the stupidest funny film ever made. I agree with that review.
Yeah, the second one was very disappointing. Here you go, Wayland Pacephus, $2. Anyone seen Pacific Rim Job? Lord?
Is that the one that someone downloaded by accident? Is that version?
Probably been better than number 2. Stream killer. Stream killer.
Yeah, it really is a stream killer. I got nothing.
Okay. I
was hovering on 2 girls, 1 Jaeger, but
it's good.
Let's move on. Who saw this?
I mean, I saw it because you sent it to me earlier, but this was the first time. That was the first time I saw it.
Any thoughts?
I saw this in relation to, wasn't there like a prize for feminine representation in film or streaming that went to Ahsoka? And I think that's where this came from.
Really?
Might have been. I thought the interview itself was kind of interesting because she is, she's not really disowning it. She is clarifying it was meant to be a joke, but she had some interesting comments to make about, her views on modern female characters, which is kind of ironic given that the test she ostensibly laid out to judge female characters, even though it turned out to be a joke, is what she's known for. She actually doesn't like a huge number of female characters. She thinks that they're too big on sort of generic action stuff, and too few of them are actually properly well-rounded people. I think the Bechdel test has some merit, even if it was a joke. It is interesting to see what women can talk about. It's the idea that a film is sexist or not sexist, depending on what women are speaking about to each other with no men around. If women in a scene with no men are only talking about men or makeup, then it fails the Bechdel test, and that makes it a sexist film.
How did Ahsoka pass the Bechdel test?
Nobody talked.
Well, they literally, every conversation is about bloody Ezra or Thrawn, and that's it. Two women talking about men.
I guess, but it did very, very clearly set out at the beginning that nobody wanted to fuck Ezra, though, so that's probably the true part.
Only with a lightsaber.
Stream killer.
He's got
Something
crap
about
now.
roadkill. I don't know.
Do you think the Ahsoka writers maybe pinched quite a lot of stuff from Dune? You got like these huge floating space whale creatures. You've got this coven of kind of mystical witches. You've got this guy with black curly hair who has strikingly blue eyes. It's like a whole bunch of motifs from Dune. They just kind of chucked in there.
Is it June or Dune?
Oh God, not again.
Again.
Let's move on. Anybody see this? This makes me sad. Breaking. BBC makes heart-breaking decision to axe Top Gear. I think it's after, is it 46 years?
Well,
That's good.
Let's be honest, it's been on life support since
That's right.
Clarkson and the team left.
Yeah.
They should never have got rid of them.
No.
They were the only things that were worth watching.
Yeah.
What's the one that they have on like Amazon now?
The Grand Tour.
Grand Tour.
Top
That's it.
Gear.
Yeah, I watched. Yeah, I watched it. I watched a little bit of that. And
Is that still going?
I'm not sure.
They're doing the occasional special episode still.
Right,
They're not
okay.
doing the 10
Yeah,
thing, which
yeah.
is, to be fair, and it was incredibly stilted. It's not, when they were doing it at the same sort of magazine show, it was not particularly good. But everyone really watched it for the specials, and the specials were okay once they stopped making it so clearly over-scripted.
Yeah.
The genius of Top Gear when they were around is that it made people who don't give a damn about cars, me included, actually like the show.
Yeah.
Here you go. I couldn't possibly comment. Not Brian. Top Gear. Brown had plenty of that in the 90s. What I can remember of it.
Top one, nice one, gets sorted.
Well, we know why the BBC's getting rid of Top Gear, because it's very masculine, and you have men, and you have, supercars and stuff like that. So, they can't have that now, can they?
When I read the story, this wasn't actually confirmed yet. So the BBC refused to comment. The rumor was that they had a journalist at the Mail, I think it was, had spoken to someone who said that they'll probably axe the show. And then every news organization said they're definitely going to cancel it. And the BBC said, well, we're not saying. So it might have been cancelled. But yeah, they put Freddie Flintoff in hospital for a while. He almost died. But that's kind of, it's part of the course. It's going to be a risky show. To me, the most depressing and revealing thing, it's not that the BBC necessarily thinks it's too masculine, though they almost certainly do. It's that the stories led with stuff like, all the staff who watched it, they immediately signed off sick with PTSD because they'd seen this horrific thing. It's not that the BBC doesn't think the audience is manly enough. It's that the BBC itself is full of women. And women with dicks, but it's basically the same thing. But just no actual, bravery, guts, determination, risk taking, whatever. They don't care. So they will axe it for that reason, if nothing else. Keep the health bill down.
I wanted to come back as rebranded as a more LGBT friendly show. Top Queer.
Knew that was coming.
Yeah,
that one coming a mile.
On that bombshell.
Drag artist in a reasonably priced car. It's a winner, I tell you.
Bottom
They
gear.
would do it as well. They would do it as well.
They would. BBC is like that. They really are.
What would the
I can't really
become?
speak on the BBC. I'm out of the loop on that one.
Okay, chat. What would the Stig become on the new show? Lord, what do you think?
I'd probably nominate the
Secret comedy, everybody. Timing.
I didn't realize that we could that you were able to censor like that.
Here you go. MGK4 top.
Yes.
Leslie Headland. Yeah, there's something about her later. Yes.
No. Ben's got his little gadget, so he's the only one who can do that.
Yes, it's a very sexy little mixer that does lots of stuff that I don't know how it works, but I do know where the swear button is, so that's all good.
I have a mixer. I just haven't gotten around to setting up.
You've got to have the best equipment, but you don't know how to work it.
Yes.
Yes. Here you go. Rhino the hamster. Top Gear was such a machine. It was.
Yeah.
One of their most syndicated shows, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Until they, mucked around with it.
Yeah. Okay. Look, here we go. Peeps are going top queef. Yeah, I think it's top queef. Top queef. Yeah. Be sad when it goes, folks. It hasn't been the same since the dynamic trio left. But anyway, fuck it. Move on. Okay, so Dune 2, or is it June 2, has been locked and rated PG-13 for sequences of strong violence, some suggestive material, and brief, strong language. This is what hurts me. In theatres, March 15.
I'm not sure how to take the rating news, because on the one hand, I think PG-13 probably does admit stuff now that it wouldn't have done a few years ago, but on the other hand, I mean, June is supposed to be a serious story for serious people. Maybe a slightly higher age rating might have served it. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's American rating, by the way. Yeah.
Oh well, never mind.
What is the equivalency rating in the UK?
PG-13.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still PG-13. Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's PG. It's PG-12.
No, it's PG-13. We have PG-13 over here as well.
Do we?
Yeah,
it's 12A and PG-13.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
12A is the thing. It's 12 advisory, isn't it? So it's like the kid's 12 or younger if the parent is with them and thinks it's suitable.
I agree with this. Jamalama, yeah, restricted would make me yes.
Yep.
Yeah. What can we say? It's not going to be out. We would have been looking forward to this in about a month's time.
I'm still looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Just looking further forward. It's farther away.
Oh God. Anyway.
I'm wondering if it's going to have the effect that I'm not really 100% certain why they're doing it, but it could go either way. It could have the effect of now people are more excited because it got pushed back and it's like they have to wait a little longer. The anticipation builds more, or it could backfire and be like, well, what was the problems to the average person who doesn't do their research?
Considering what we've had out this year, this would have made a ton of money. Is going to make a ton of money, but anyway, Sharon G was the first one PG-13 too.
I do not remember.
I'll check.
But I did.
These things have.
Sorry,
go ahead. Oh, these things have a way of rolling around faster than you think. Like I remember Oppenheimer. Oh my God, it's a year and a half away, and then it just arrives, gets there quicker than you think it's going to.
You go, MJuke 84. June 2. Was it Doom 2? Electric Boogaloo. Oh, was it? Okay.
It was PG-13.
Yeah. Jenna Crisp. 4 swear words in 12R. Okay. Perhaps it's down to the swear words.
Maybe. Is March usually a good propitious time to release films, or is that an unusual release date for
March? Is a little bit before the boom season. That's usually like May, so it's a little bit before that, but it's not the worst time to release a movie.
When does Easter fall next year? Perhaps something to do with that. I don't know.
I think now it's nothing to do with what time you release the film. It's to do with how good the film is now, because people are not going to the cinema. So if this film is good, word of mouth gets out there, it's going to see a rise in box office taking. So it better be good,
It's about 2 weeks before Easter of 2024. So.
And they've got no stars that can sell films these days. Not even the big ones. Nobody cares anymore. Brad Pitt's in the film. Nobody gives a shit if he's in the film. That's not one of the factors that make you go and see a film with Brad Pitt's in it. Movie stars seem to be dwindling at the moment. I don't know if you guys agree.
Easter 2024 is March 31st, so it doesn't even really piggyback on that.
Okay, I will say Denis Villeneuve. If this had better be good, or I'm coming looking for you, mate.
Watch out, Brown's coming for you.
Please be good. Please, please. Lord, you're the same, aren't you? It's like, please be good, please.
Yeah, no, very much. I'm interested to see what they do, given because they made some changes to the source in part 1, and also part 1 doesn't really cover any of really the biggest impactful events of the book. So how they carry those changes forward in the way that doesn't break a sequel will be interesting to see. But if it's up to the same quality of writing, design, filmography, everything about the first one, with a bit more stuff happening, because more stuff will have to happen, then I think it could be a really good film. I hope that it is.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Leaked. The Acolyte trailer declares, this isn't about good or bad. It's about power and who's allowed to use it. Harvey Weinstein. What do you think then, guys?
Not interested.
Well, what's the cast look like? Because I'm just going to determine right now who
I think it looks like women.
Yeah, I think the cast looks stunning and brave.
Stunning and brave, everybody.
I can't wait for them to dismantle the patriarchy.
So I just pulled it up, and I've yet to see. Okay, so yeah, so they have no white guy to blame here, and for having all the power yet as of right now. Oh, there he is. He's like 17th on the list.
Leslie Headland showrunning and writing this.
She shouldn't even been allowed to showrun anything because she was friends with Harvey Weinstein.
Well, she's secretary as well, more than friend. She worked for the guy.
Yeah, so
isn't Disney being taken to court at the moment over that?
There is something to do with one of the writers not getting paid or something.
Some of these character names are fantastic, like Lee Jung Jae as Jedi Master and Carrie Ann Moss as Jedi. These are really in depth that they've gone with here.
Isn't Carrie Ann Moss an actual real life person?
She is.
Yeah. Those are the actor names, and that the characters they're playing are Jedi Master and Jedi.
I see.
Respectively.
Okay.
Carrie Ann Moss is Trinity from the Matrix.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just find it amazing that her character is literally just called Jedi. That goes to show you the level of writing that we're dealing with.
It doesn't matter. It's not about character. It's about power and who's allowed to use it. You can have all of them being completely nameless. It's just about power. Isn't that still about good and bad, though? I mean, surely if the argument is power and who's allowed to use it, you have a conception of who is going to exercise power for the good and for the bad, no matter what your point of view happens to be. It's still about good and bad.
But Ricky Gervais called it, didn't he? He said to all the actors when he was doing the awards thing, he said, if ISIS came up and said they had a production company, you guys will sign up for it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with this as well. I mean, Carrie Ann Moss, right? I respect her as an actress and think she's pretty good.
Yeah.
She signed up to this crap, and it is rubbish. Do you know what I mean? So they don't care as long as they get the money and do a bit of acting. Yeah. That's it for them, isn't it? Really?
I mean, there's literally not much. Like I'm having to go to Wikipedia for this. That's just to say, because there's barely anything on.
Do we know when it's out?
It
next
comes
year
out
at some point.
Yeah, but as of right now, these are the listed characters. I'm not taking out names. This is literally how they're listed. As a former Padawan, as a Jedi Master, nothing. As a young Jedi, nothing. Then an actual name, Vernesta Rowe, a Jedi Knight Prodigy. Then as a young Jedi, as a Jedi. It's like, wow.
The Wednesday streams will be very, very.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Have they shot it?
I think they have. Yeah,
so,
I think they've shot it. Well, didn't I hear that they've removed the trailer from YouTube or something like that?
Thank God.
It was very downvoted, as you would expect, but I think they've removed it. But no, I believe it's shot or almost all shot.
Not interesting. Can I read you guys some quotes about Leslie Headland and the Acolyte?
Yeah, go on.
For Headland, nothing is like seeing other queer people and queer stories, and she wants Star Wars fans She wants Star Wars fans to be able to do that when they watch their favorite franchise.
Fuck me.
While she offers no information on it that will be on screen or not, the fact that a lesbian is behind the scenes running the show brings a new level of queerness to the universe.
Oh my god, it's so amazing! Oh my god, that's so amazing!
It's the thing, I've never been able to enjoy Star Wars, because as far as we know, George Lucas isn't gay, and that's really what makes it count. There's no gay people in Star Wars, so obviously I must hate the damn thing. In fact, why did I ever like it now that that's been mentioned? I'm pretty sure Star Wars has always been shit because it's not gay enough. Or you can just, fuck off, Leslie Headland.
There's just no way that me being a queer woman is not going to be reflected in my work. I could try not to do it, but why would I? It just feels like a natural extension of what I do.
Oh my god, that's something
Sounds like Russell T.
No matter what characters are in her stories, all of them are about being queer in some way. I think that because storytelling at its core is always going to come down to either the personal or emotional through line to your characters, your identity is important. And like I said, mine is just going to be in my work, whether I'm explicitly dealing with it or not. It's always going to be there.
And there's people will be lapping that shite up like it's going out of fashion. Some channel said she started the queer banner as a smokescreen, as a deflection for all her wrongdoings.
Wouldn't be surprised.
So anyway, on that bombshell, the Wednesdays will be very, very interesting. Bring it on. Bring it on.
You're going to be like a young apprentice who goes to his Jedi Master and says, I think I might be a Sith. No, get back in that closet, you little evil shit.
Anybody see this? All the kind of shill media just been...
I think I mentioned this one earlier, didn't I? Yeah, name a single character arc which actually has a conclusion. With the exception of Morgan. Morgan Elsbeth dies. I wouldn't call that a satisfying conclusion, but it is a conclusion. Of the rest, no one actually has a conclusion. Big Ray is looking mysteriously out over some statues.
Didn't say a word.
Billie Eilish is looking mysteriously out over some tribespeople. Ahsoka and Sabine are trapped in a distant galaxy, which is exactly where they need to be for some reason. Anakin is looking mysteriously over them. Ezra is looking at Hera. Hera is looking at Ezra, and Thrawn is on his way back to the galaxy. So none of this has been resolved at all. What are they talking about?
Apart from that, it was really good, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, loved it. Sabine the War Criminal. What a great story.
See, in a way, right? I envy you. Echo. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I really think you should see that final episode through. Watching it for the first time, fucking hell, I envy you.
It's everything you never wanted and more.
The peer pressure is real here, by the way. Like if I have to suffer, so do you.
Go on, you want to.
There were moments where I would laugh, but it was a strange kind of laughter. If I can try and get the exact context, like if something tragic has happened, maybe someone has died or something like that, and then someone will say a little joke, and then you'll laugh, and that laugh will be like a release of tears afterwards. Like that's kind of like my reaction when I was like when Anakin Ahsoka says something like cool, and his riposte is incorrect, and then there's a big swell of music. I laughed at that out loud, and then I started to cry.
Echo. You don't mind showing your face on YouTube, do you?
No, I'm fine, I guess. And like
I genuinely think you should do the reaction video of you watching it. I'm sure you would make a few NZ dollars out of it.
Remove any sharp objects out of the vicinity of the viewing area.
Brown is really using the if I keep asking no, we'll turn to yes method here. Like he's really pushing that. If I just keep bringing it up, he'll eventually just say yes.
Because I know he wants to. He's just frightened, and it's okay. Listen, it's okay to be frightened. It's okay.
My expression would be like the expression of, is it Jennifer Connelly during the ass to ass sequence in Requiem for a Dream? That's what my expression would be like for the 15 minutes. No one gets that reference?
No.
Come on, no one's seen Requiem for a Dream.
I saw it a long time ago and don't remember.
Echo. You're too good for us.
Not my kind of movie, I'm afraid.
Okay, so the chat is saying do it, mate. Yeah, let's say do it. Yeah, okay. Shit, everybody, let's move on. Rumor: Hasbro chose not to create Ahsoka toys due to lack of demand.
God, what a surprise!
Wow.
Which is funny because, like, if they would have did Ahsoka figures before this show, they probably would have been well received. Like just an Ahsoka figure as a because like Hasbro for their Black series does
Yeah,
fan characters.
They have actually released all the characters from Ahsoka in the Black series. I just think it's the smaller retro size ones they're not going to do.
Yeah, because I saw somebody doing one of the Star Wars shills. She got a box full of free stuff, and she was fucking creaming herself. I just think it's the black stuff. It's the little mini ones.
Well, there's Black series. There's 6-inch scale and 3-inch scale. So that's
is the biggest one the Black series.
Yeah, 6 inches of black, mate. Yeah.
I don't even know how to.
I think that was a joke.
Stream killer got it.
Yeah. So I actually used to collect Star Wars action figures. So the Black series is like the main collectible series out of Hasbro. Then they have one called the Elite series, which is a little bit more
elite.
Well, they're a little bit more detailed and more expensive. And then they have obviously your the ones that you would give to like kids that you don't care if they break them.
Here you go, folks. This is the man who knows, not Brian in the chat. The Hasbro Ahsoka toys are incredible. Wow.
You can
usually the Black series figures are usually pretty good quality. Sometimes they're garbage. Like occasionally they cheap out on certain characters that they know aren't gonna sell.
Yeah.
But if it's one that they think will do well, they usually put a pretty decent amount of work.
I was in the local HMV a couple of weeks ago. All the Black series from what was the last series?
Mandalorian?
No, the one before with Reva.
Oh, Obi-Wan.
Yeah, all those Black series were half price, and there were tons of them as well. Apart from the one I wanted, the Calclon didn't have it, bastards. But anyway.
On Ahsoka itself, I think I read somewhere that season 2 is not officially locked in yet. So it's sort of vaguely happening, but they haven't confirmed that it is definitely happening. So there's a chance that it will never see the light of day, which means in canon, the last anyone has ever seen of Ahsoka Tano is in a distant galaxy somewhere saying, this is exactly where we need to be. And she's never seen again.
I thought it was a disembodied Force voice from Rise of Skywalker.
Oh no, yeah, she is. Which means she has to die.
Yeah, Black U Lives had a really good comment up a little bit in the.
Okay, I'll do it for you.
So it may turn out she ends up stranded here and dies.
They eat all the crab people. They run out of food. They starve. The end.
I like a Star Wars story. I like that comment right there.
I won't read the comment.
Eats Ahsoka.
Out. It's brutal.
Really
brutal.
Yeah, the thing,
brutal, mate. Brutal.
The parents in California probably is really what did it for me.
Yeah, it's brutal, but it's true.
The Ahsoka toy would come with 3 accessory pairs of clippable, foldable arms, so you can have different varieties of folded arms.
These are folded arms inside of sleeves, and these are ones outside of sleeves.
On that bombshell, let's move on.
Yeah.
Guess what's coming back, everybody?
Oh, good.
Toys R Us. I think this is the States. And I think we covered this many months ago that they're going to open up in the UK again. Toys R Us, everybody. Yes, that makes me happy.
Like Hamleys.
You know why they went bankrupt last time, don't you?
Star Wars.
Yeah. It's all Star Wars stuff they couldn't shift.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's double checking. I don't know. It could have been a joke.
This show, look, here you go. Look, see toys there. And toys on this one.
You never know. I mean, they could have had some sort of shady deal with a accountant. I don't know. I wasn't keeping up on my Toys R Us bankruptcy claims back then.
I used to go there all the time. They had a massive wall of Doctor Who figures.
Not anymore.
Through the door. Oh, lovely.
Now you got Doctor Who in a skirt.
B&M, mate.
Get the Doctor Who toy where he wears a skirt. There you go. Seriously.
No.
What a load of bollocks. Anyway.
Listen, because like Matt Catlin. Listen, it's great. Toys R Us. Great to see them returning. Yeah.
Yeah, they like had shifted to like actually just like a brand. It was like I forget what it was Jeffrey's something or other. It was like Jeffrey's Corner or something like that, where they would basically be in other stores for a while. They never went away fully.
There is nothing better in life than being a small kid going to a toy shop.
Are you allowed to say us then? Toys R Us.
Toys are they?
Us these days?
Toys are they them?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is us okay to say?
Lord, you're an expert on stuff like that. Is it? Are they allowed to say that?
Yes.
Oh, I know what it is. It's Toys R US, as in United States.
Could be.
Ah, yeah,
could be.
Go. It would make sense why the R is backwards then with our school system.
Oh dear. Oh dear. We didn't say that, an American said it.
I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to say that. So.
Nothing is as great as being a young child excited about going to a toy shop. It's just one of those pleasures in life.
There was a Toys R Us in my nearest town. I used to go there all the time to just look at all the Star Wars prequel toys that we couldn't afford. It was lovely.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's move on. Great to see them back.
Lord of the Rings.
The Lord of the Rings screenwriter Philippa, is that Boyens, explains how, get this folks, how Sam and Frodo have a genuine friendship without any political and, get this, sexual implication.
Yeah. Sam only put his finger in Frodo's ring once and only for about 5 minutes, and that means that it's not technically sexual yet. If it had been an extra minute or if he'd done it twice, then it's something else. But
did his eyes water though?
No, but he did say no homo, Mr. Frodo.
It's terrible.
That does null and void it. I've been told that reasonably that is the way to negate it. Just say no homo, and it automatically.
Who's a fan of Lord of the Rings? Anybody a fan?
Firmly.
Z,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a fan. Watch them every now and again.
Yeah. Echo. You a fan?
Well, I mean, 90% of people in my country had something to do with it at some stage. So yeah, absolutely.
It was big business.
Dark Hour, you a fan?
I'm actually not a big fan of Lord of the Rings.
Same here, not my bag.
Yeah, not really my thing.
Bag.
Who are you people?
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm sorry, it's just not my thing.
Quote from Close Encounters.
I've watched them. It's not like I've not watched them. I'm not like a person who read all the books and stuff. It just wasn't my thing.
Mr. Diaz, are you a fan?
Yeah, I like the movies. I've never read the books, but I find it hard to go back and watch them. If you know what I mean, because they're so long. You know,
Bin for you. I think they're getting re-released soon.
I watched it.
Yeah, they're getting re-released. I do believe.
What in a cinema?
Yeah. Is it next month or November? Yes, November. Yeah, my favorite month. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, they somehow uncovered 75 more hours of footage.
It's the.
I hope they have.
Yeah, it better be the extended edition.
Yeah, the super long mega editions. Yeah, they're all been re-released.
But do you know there's a pattern emerging here, isn't there? That they keep putting old films in the cinema because people like us would go and see them, and the new films are not performing well at all, apart from obviously Barbie and the ones that are, you know what I mean. But the new ones, you know, they're not really performing. People are not going to the cinema, man. I hope it doesn't die.
Well, we've said this before. Cinemas, theaters are missing a trick. People just put old films in.
That's what they're doing.
People want to watch them.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
I don't normally look out for re-releases of films, but if The Lord of the Rings comes back in a cinema near me, I'll definitely be in. Yeah, these are some of the first films I really remember going to see at the cinema. They are about as good. The extended editions, anyway, with one or two minor problems, are probably about as good an adaptation of a book like The Lord of the Rings as you can get. There are bits missing. Obviously, I think some of those actually improve the overall tale. I don't see any reason to have Tom Bombadil in the story. I think he's a holdover from a more childlike writing stage that Tolkien was in, for example. So not having him in was a good thing. Otherwise, almost all of the additional content in the extended editions is necessary as well as being good. And yeah, some of my favorite films of all time, I'll happily rewatch these at least once a year.
Well,
but on the story there, though, I mean, there's a serious point to be made, which is, it is a real genuine friendship, but that's kind of the whole point of The Lord of the Rings. It's this, all of these grand political machinations that happened around Gondor, Rohan, Mordor, Isengard, all of the grand stories and the huge battles. But the actual hero of the tale, well, there are really two, but if you really want to narrow it down to one hero of the tale, it's Sam. Why is Sam, if you had to really narrow it down to one, the hero of The Lord of the Rings? It's because he follows somebody out of pure loyalty and friendship with nothing to gain except that friendship and nothing to lose except that friendship. And he's offered the chance to turn away from it. He's offered the chance at greed when he takes the ring and he turns it down. And that makes him, and obviously he's the one who carries Frodo up the mountain at the end of the film. So like that makes Sam probably the most noble and the most muted of all of the major characters, but it's also what makes him one of the best.
You're going to be very, very excited then next month. Yeah.
I think I love those films. I mean, the caliber of the acting across the board is incredible. From Viggo Mortensen is perfect, especially. And it's almost a miracle that it happened, that 5 years too early, the CGI wouldn't have been quite up to it. 5 years too late, identity politics maybe would have started to get in there. And so no matter what Hollywood does, no matter how shit the culture gets, they can't take it away. It's there. It's always going to be there forever. And I love it.
Oh, you'll be surprised what they can do, mate.
Is this a sad reflection of how things are nowadays? Because basically what's that saying is that you can't have a platonic friendship with anybody. You just basically want to stick something inside them.
I don't know. See, I think this is one of those overreactions that occasionally happens. There are people online who will say, like they will read fan fiction essentially into any male romance, but that's always been true. You can go back to the 1990s. You can watch, say, Death Note, for example, the anime series. You can read gay subtext into Death Note if you want to, or you cannot do that if you want to. Some people will want to say, well, I can see how this could be interpreted in a gay way, and other people will say, no, well, they can still be friends without being gay. Both of these things can be true at the same time. You can read in what you want to characters to a certain degree. However, yes, it is important to say that characters can be friends without fucking each other. That's obviously important in fiction.
Yeah, but what they're trying to do is, in the novel, was it George Orwell's novel, say if you control the past, you can control the future. And this is what these people are trying to do. They will come round to this film one day and say, yes, they were gay. Do you know what I mean? They will
people
come
have
round.
Already tried. I mean, you can find things online which say that orcs represent black people and that makes the films racist. You will find treatises from left-wing people online saying that actually Frodo and Sam's relationship is queer coded. And it's your right and your liberty to turn around to those people and say, no, you're wrong. But that's, if you want to read it that way, by all means do, but don't tell me that I have to do that.
But Ego, Atom Gray, no subtext, please. We're British.
They got the power to actually reinforce it, though. I mean, they seem to be getting more power as each day goes by. So this is the worry here, in my opinion. So anyway,
it's strange, right? Because there is that tendency, especially now, to see like platonic male friendships and read queer subtext into them. But at the same time, where there ought to be heterosexuality, it's gone weirdly passive and benign, like especially in Star Wars. There's no sexuality or sensuality of any kind to the point where it's actually weird now.
Z, you're into bumming, aren't you?
Oh, I am, sir. And they are definitely not bummers.
Okay. Before we move on, I went to see the first movie on a late show, and I think I'd been up from I'd done a day's work, been up from about 6 a.m. Went to see the late show, 11 p.m. Fuck me, it was one of the worst movie experiences of my life. I just about managed to stay awake. It was like, please stop, make it end, please. But anyway.
I am never coming back on this stream again.
Well, I saw the first one, then I went to see the second one, and you know what, Lord? I've never seen the third one.
I did. You know what? It is a good series, right? And they did a really good job, and it works very, very well. But I can't watch them again. I just think they're far too long and far too detailed. To
Yeah,
watch
Lord
again,
loves
in my
that though,
opinion.
doesn't he? So,
Yeah.
here you go. Patrick Stewart thought Tom Hardy's career would tank after odd solitary behavior on Star Trek Nemesis sets. He wouldn't engage, very good, with any of us.
Yeah, but you know what does he know? Do you know what I mean? What does Patrick
Yeah,
Stewart know?
he had a bad time of it, Tom Hardy, on that, didn't he?
It's a shit film.
Yeah, it was a
Well,
crap
there was
movie.
that as well, yeah. But
I mean, could he have been method acting? Doesn't he play quite a isolated, individualist, kind of reclusive weirdo?
Yeah.
But
I think
Tom Hardy's career has really gone downhill, hasn't it? Really, he starred in some really good movies, and now he's in bloody what's that stupid Marvel thing? And
Venom.
yeah, Venom.
Venom,
I never thought he would star in Venom. He was at one point he was a really good serious actor. Now he's kind of starring in a.
But he's still got a reliable job whenever Christopher Nolan gets a film. He's got a pretty good
Next
chance of being in
question.
there, and there is a Bond rumor, I think. For this
Oh
one
yes, well, I called that 2 years ago. 3
His
years
teeth.
ago.
He's got to fix his teeth, though. Jeez,
I
come on.
genuinely think he's going to be the next Bond, especially if Nolan's doing it.
I don't care. Henry needs to be. That's what I reckon.
With shit,
But
blah blah blah, all that shit.
Yeah.
Anybody a fan of Nemesis? Then I rewatched it maybe a couple of years ago. It's not as bad as I remember it at the time.
But you can see what they were trying to do at the ending when Data sacrificed himself and they had
I
the
love
chip
you,
at the
Data.
ending. You could tell that they wanted Data to come back because they had that chip and they're going to put it in Law. They're going to take the chip out of Law and put it in him, and then he's back. But obviously the film flopped big time. So yeah, there you go.
Echo, anything to add, and then we'll move on.
Tom Hardy as Bond. I think why not?
Yeah,
give it a go. I
Why?
Like it. He's got a strange, maverick, unpredictable quality to him on the
age,
screen, which I think is great.
Right age.
How old is he
probably.
now? Anybody?
Late 30s, isn't he?
No,
Chat,
he's
help
older
us
than that,
out.
isn't he?
Tom Hardy, how
40s?
old is he?
I think he's in his 40s, I think.
I'm on it. Hold on.
I really enjoyed him in Peaky Blinders as a Jewish London gangster.
Yes, Alfie
That was
Solomons in Peaky Blinders. He's absolutely top notch as that.
I think no
46.
one. What?
He's 46.
Yes, I'm saying he's I think he's well, Roger Moore was in his 40s when he played Bond, wasn't he? But then again, it was a different time then, so I don't know. Maybe he could still play Bond. Who knows?
I'd wager
Tom
he's
Hardy's
in
been
better shape than Roger Moore was back then.
Oh God,
I was gonna
yes.
say, Tom Hardy's proven that he's willing to get into like whatever shape needed for the film. So
Yeah, because like Tom Hardy's career hasn't really kicked off big time, so Bond would probably, push him
I
forward.
think that honestly, I think like as weird as it is, I do think that him being associated with Christopher Nolan did hurt his career because the one like breakout role that they thought was going to be it was him as Bane, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
Then like Inception, he kind of got like muddled into an ensemble cast and wasn't really remembered very well. So I do think that actually harmed his career a lot.
Nolan in advanced talks to do a pair of Bond movies.
Then
I hope
odds
he
are
does
that
them.
if he does get them, then odds are you're looking at your Bond.
I really hope
As a
he
stepping
doesn't,
stone.
because he's gonna take Bond down a different route, and it's not going to be Bond. It's going to be something else. That, you know what, right? Bond needs to go back to the way Bond is, in my opinion. Of course, it really does. But anyway,
You go Red Side, Cavill as Bond, Hardy as Dr. Evil.
That would work.
But I don't think it would come down to Christopher Nolan. It comes down to Barbara Broccoli. She's the one who makes the decision ultimately about who Bond
you know
is.
what? That's what it sounds like on paper.
Easy.
But to tell you the truth, right? She hasn't got a clue. She basically will go with what she thinks is the right thing, which is the opinion of the person in front of her. Seriously, I'm serious.
Cause you can, Daniel.
The only time she fought for something was Daniel Craig. None of the people were convinced Daniel Craig could be Bond, but because, and this is just my opinion, of course, because she fancied the pants off him, she fought to get him as Bond, and she achieved that.
Yeah, and Cavill did the audition same time.
Yeah, according to the director, he was brilliant. Cavill as Bond was really good. I'd love to see that audition tape. But
I just don't want Aaron Taylor Johnson to be to be
I
Bond.
don't want
Yes.
either.
Was anyone on the panel aware that Tom Hardy was in a deleted scene for The Last Jedi? Because I just found this
No.
information.
Was he really?
I was this
Stream killer.
many years old, this
Wow.
many days old when I found this out. Apparently, how is there a scene bad enough to be deleted from that movie? Is what I want to know.
Always goes back to that. Anyway, okay, let's move on.
Sorry, I was just looking at it.
We'll just quickly say this again. Star Trek 4 is in the works. Everybody, can you believe it?
Yeah, but means nothing though. In the works, it's been in the works for how many years? Yeah, so it means nothing. And also, who are they going to cast? Who are going to cast this time round? You know, it's you ain't going to get all those stars back. There's no way you're going to get all those stars back. And
Chris
how much is
Pine
it going to
would do it.
cost? How
Pine
much
would do it.
It's going to cost more than the last film if you got all those stars back now. Do you know? So I don't know what they're going to do with the Star Trek franchise. I really
And who is really asking for this?
exactly.
I mean, I didn't mind the original Star Trek reboot film, although it did have issues.
Yeah.
But the other two, Into Darkness,
Yeah.
and I can't even remember what the third one was called. They were absolute garbage.
They will.
Putting
Yeah,
putting
call it.
Uhura and Spock in a relationship was the most stupidly contrived thing I could possibly.
I know, but
imagine.
that goes back to the 60s, doesn't it? So you know the story behind that, don't you?
No, I don't.
No, please.
So
say.
basically, the story behind that was that Spock and Uhura were meant to have this kiss, and William Shatner got jealous, so he went to the producers and said, you know, oh, it should be Captain Kirk, and then they swapped it with Captain
Well, it
Kirk
should.
kissing Uhura, and so that's the origin of getting Spock together with Uhura in the film version, obviously in JJ's version.
Yeah, you go, Gino Crisp. Always great to see new peeps. At this point, none of the real fans want any of this.
Yeah.
I liked the cast. It's just the
Yeah, the cast was great.
it was just the material they were given. It's a dog shite.
I don't think. Look, it's going to take a miracle to get all those stars back because they're all pretty big now, aren't they? All of them. So how are you going to get them back?
I think Chris Pine's star is somewhat doesn't shine as bright as it used to.
It's fading a bit. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, you're not going to get Anton Yelchin back. He's
Oh,
Yeah.
see, Stream Killer. Let's move on.
And also, the guy plays Spock as well. You can get him back because he's done nothing as far as I
Yeah,
can
that's
see.
true.
Yeah.
Except gained 100 pounds.
Oh God, yeah, he has, isn't he?
Reports The Little Mermaid production budget soared to nearly 300 million, more than doubling its losses at the box office. What a surprise.
Haven't seen this film at all.
Anybody
I did.
seen it?
Yeah, I did. I reviewed it, in fact. It was a really good
I
opportunity to
reviewed
go
it
back
as well.
and read the original fairy tale, which is much better, needless to say.
Mm.
But I never really liked the original animated one too much. This one was just a bit of a nothing burger. Didn't this do quite well on streaming though? Isn't this Disney's best performing original release on Disney
Yeah,
Plus?
people were, I would say, well, doesn't mean they watched all of it, but people
No, that's
were,
true.
people were interested in it. Yeah, so yes.
And I
that's-
doubt even if it did, it made up $300 million. But nevertheless, it did quite
on
well.
streaming, I wouldn't have done
I
that.
remember that there was a big there was like a whole thing about people being really happy that it hit its budget for its box office. They're like, it broke even, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. Not at all. Not even close. And everyone was trying to like essentially rewrite the narrative that it actually did well that way.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not at all. I'm just saying that that's what happened.
Yeah.
See, here you go, Amelia Bedelia. Parents, yeah, see, Disney is the digital babysitter. Spot on. Yeah.
It's not good, is it? Because it's the Disney's.
Indoctrination.
Yes, exactly. That's, you know what? I want more people to wake up to this. I really do. But it doesn't seem that it's going to happen soon.
Well, the parents need to wake up. That's what they need to do.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Anyway.
In a way, I think this film was probably the most nothingy of all of the remakes, or at least the recent one. It wasn't as offensive as Peter Pan, probably because it was already intended primarily for teenage girls. And so the changes they made weren't as drastic. They were still important and comical, like changing all of the lines in the song, changing it from like he wants to kiss her, she can't speak. He has to ask her for consent, which is just fucking hilarious. How the hell is he supposed to do that?
Sorry, I was about to say, Ian, did you see the latest Corridor Crew?
I haven't. It's on my to watch.
Right, so they had the guy, as Ben was saying, they had the guy who directed that Peter Pan film you mentioned, Ben. Right, and he's this little bald-headed chap with like a beard, really tiny. He reminds me of the guy that played Rorschach in that film, Watchmen, right? And he was talking, and suddenly I realized that his right hand, his fingernails were painted. So I'm like, that's weird. So the question was, I mean, I don't know. Is this wrong to say? It's wrong to ask this question.
Careful.
Is he gay? That's the question I need to ask. And if he is gay, no, I'm just saying. There's a tone that they put in the films, don't they?
A friend of mine used to paint his nails in the 90s.
I'm just saying.
He's not.
I'm just.
But he only painted the nails on one hand.
Yes, one hand.
What?
Maybe he's bipolar or bi-curious, or
maybe he was a baseball catcher in his off time. They do that so you can see their fingers.
But what I'm saying is,
maybe he's like Dr. Strangelove, and only his right hand is gay, and everything else about him is completely straight.
I'm just saying because I don't know about it. But I just thought it was really weird, and I just thought, does that mean to say he's gay? I don't know. That's the question I wanted to ask him.
Well, it's not a problem.
I don't know. Anyway,
let's move on. Gareth Edwards. See, here we go. And see, I would say it, and I didn't put two and two together. Gareth Edwards and Disney's the creators at the box office.
What does that mean?
Meaning it didn't do well.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oops.
It's done Disney numbers.
Oh, okay.
But it's weird because the original buzz for this was that, this is fresh, this is bracing, this is exciting, people are really loving this. So it's strange to see that narrative is not panned out.
Wow.
What is the actual box office at? I'll look it up.
Don't know. You're gonna find out. Anybody watch it?
I haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it yet.
I might go and see it though.
Yeah, I'm planning to, but I've not seen it yet.
Yeah, it's already practically out of theaters in my area. Like,
is it? Wow.
Yeah, it's like it's down to like a couple of showings now.
Be quick then. Yeah.
Did you liked it, Ian, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But then again, you guys work on a different level to me. You go Iceman the Doctor, 38 million.
Ugh.
It's not just a different level. It's more that if tickets are expensive, you only have so much time in the day. If you're going to go to the cinema once a week, what are you going to go and see? And the creator, for a new franchise, I appreciate it's a new idea. Well, at least it sounds like it is. It's a new franchise, or not a franchise. It's a new film. It's not a continuation. If it's going to stand out, if it's going to actually get an audience, which is going to spread by word of mouth, it has to do something more than simply be kind of okay. It has to actually be kind of impressive.
You know what, Lord? I genuinely would be interested for you to listen to your review of this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have time for a review, but I still plan to see the film, and then we'll see what happens after that. But from what I heard, it visually is striking, but the characters are shallow and the story is a bit thin. And that's probably the reason for its failure. If it's not doing something really kind of new and worth people's time, it's not that people don't like the film. It's that they don't really like it enough to go again or to recommend it to other people. I said it needed an extra 15 minutes to flesh it out, and it would have been a lot better. Yes.
Did the main character in the film kick ass big time? Because listen, this is what's missing from films, right? If you're going to have an action film, your hero has got to kick ass. This is what we want. We want to see things like Die Hard, and now is the time to make a film like Die Hard, or do you know what I mean? Lethal Weapon and stuff like that, because that's sadly missing from the cinema. Paw Patrol.
It was that I was about to say it actually got beat out by Paw Patrol.
It did, yeah.
So this is what is as of today. Yeah. The U.S. gross was, I'll call it 25 mil because it was just below that, and the other territories 37 for a worldwide of 62 million against an 80 million budget, and it came in behind Paw Patrol and Saw X and a couple of other things here that I don't even know there.
Did he kick ass?
I have no idea. I didn't see it.
No, not.
You see, that's what I'm
particularly.
saying.
I'm not convinced by him anyway.
They're making our heroes passive for some reason. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I keep saying this, but this is what we need though in the cinema. I mean, RRR. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That was just dripping with.
Sorry.
I mean, it was just heroes doing amazing things. I don't know if you've ever seen RRR. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've been wanting to. We should.
The Navy was all over it.
Yeah, we should cover that at some point.
It is. It's long. The film is very long, but I'm telling you, the way it was directed,
is it good?
Action,
long and dripping.
A lot of fun. Seriously,
hilarious fight sequences.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't this film seem like it's just it's more a collection of tropes or bits of other films kind of bolted together rather than anything that actually transcends that?
Are you talking about the creator?
No, yeah. There's also that strange thing with science fiction films is that they can just disappear if their premise doesn't get through, like After Earth,
it definitely
65
has.
or Oblivion. There's so many films like that. They've got a very narrow thing to get through to get their premise across. If it doesn't, it just fades.
There's been a definite shortage of decent sci-fi. It was just good to see some sci-fi on the big screen.
Sci-fi's always been one of those hit or miss genres.
I'm massively into sci-fi. It did need an extra 15 minutes of character development. I wasn't convinced by the Washington geezer.
He's not a leading man.
Yeah, in Tenet as well.
Yeah, he was terrible in Tenet.
Yeah,
it's kind
his career is
sci-fi though, right? So sci-fi has a very high threshold to clear because sci-fi has this immense capacity to introduce these really groundbreaking new ideas. But if it doesn't do that, it looks like every other sci-fi film ever made. It really has to offer something which is more than simply a rehash of iRobot or like what's a big AI focused sci-fi film. Like it has to be more than simply resembling something you've already seen for the audience to really give a shit. Sci-fi has an immense potential to introduce new concepts, and the audience is more receptive, I think, when it does do that, or at least innovate in new and interesting ways. But if it just comes across as, oh, I've seen this before in those other sci-fi things that I kind of remember liking, then it's not going to make a mark. No one's going to really remember it. It's not going anywhere new, and that really defeats the object of science fiction.
Yeah, and when it gets that cool idea, people will go see it because they like it and it connects. The Day After Tomorrow, that film kicks ass.
Day After Tomorrow. Yeah,
no, not Day After Tomorrow. The Tom Cruise one.
Yeah, yeah, I know the one you mean.
Day After Tomorrow is the climate change one.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow is a great film.
But that's what I'm saying. It had characterization. His character, you could follow him. I like the idea that he was a coward in the beginning, and then all the way through the film, he becomes a hero.
If you're interested in that movie, we happened to cover that on Two Hoes a few weeks ago. Just saying.
Yeah, they did. I will
Plus, you can have a strong female character, and you can also like her.
Yeah, brilliant, Emily Blunt. There is a 5-hour cut of this movie. I'm kind of thinking that somewhere between the 5-hour and the 2-hour 15, there's probably a decent film in there somewhere. But anyway,
it's like so take Oblivion, for example. That's another Tom Cruise film. I think Oblivion has really lovely production design. It looks brilliant. The soundtrack's great. The acting is quite good. And for the first maybe hour of the film, it's an interesting concept. But no one really looks at Oblivion now as, that was a really, really brilliant film. I wish they'd done a second one, because as soon as it gets past the hour mark, it just becomes generic science fiction.
I've only seen
and closes with. I mean, I recommend the film. I quite like Oblivion, but it becomes really generic by the end. Yeah. And that means that people look at Oblivion and say, oh, yeah, that's that sci-fi thing with Tom Cruise that looked nice. And that's all they really remember, because the story isn't there. Audiences don't have a huge amount of patience, I don't think, for science fiction, because it can seem like really, really objectionably nerdy. And so it has to earn its place in your memory. It has to do something philosophical as opposed to simply just nerdgasm over the screen. And it sounds at least like the creator didn't manage to do that. It was a pastiche of various different inspirations, made to look really nice, but without really breaking ground.
I'm kind of thinking then it's there, isn't it? The word Disney.
Yeah, it's been done before, so it must be good. Yeah, that's Disney's motto all over.
Yeah.
Edge of Tomorrow also has that essential humor to it. It's got a verve to it.
Yeah.
This is also a good element.
My meaning Disney may have Disneyfied it, is what I'm saying.
Well, and also we have to
Perhaps.
remember in that film that you just mentioned with Tom Cruise in it, that Emily Blunt trained him. You got a woman that trained Tom Cruise to fight in that film. So you know what I mean? It wasn't
many
like
times as well.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So you know, it wasn't woke at all. That
It's a great
film.
film. Great film. Great film. Deserved to do a lot better than it did. All right,
yeah.
let's move on.
I'll just drop a link to us talking about it then.
Netflix.
Yes, you
Netflix.
may. Okay, so just a couple of subscription price stories. Netflix price is going up again, folks.
Is this on the ad-free version by any chance?
No idea. And Disney says they may limit or terminate people's access to the service if they've committed password sharing.
Well, that's going to stop people subscribing. Great idea, Disney.
Yeah, but Disney has never had any good ideas, have they? So
Dark
far.
Hours review of
well, it wasn't a review, it was a breakdown, but yeah. It was we did that one.
Dark Hours breakdown of what's the film again?
They're different things.
Sell it, Dark Hour, sell it.
Okay. I think I put the I put all the guests' channel links in the description anyway. So okay, so yeah, where was I? So yes, so Netflix is going up.
Yeah, so for anyone who's not familiar with the basic economics underlying all of this stuff, almost every major streaming service is moving to this model where they want to introduce adverts because adverts actually make them money. Lo and behold, the reason that cable TV runs so many ads is that ads are profitable, whereas subscriptions without ads are actually not as reliable or as profitable. So what they will tend to be doing, and I would be surprised if this is not the case, is raising the subscription price on the ad-free package in a bid to move more people over to the advertising package, which will then boost their revenue from adverts, which are the only, Disney, for example, Disney Plus's only profitable sections are the ones that are allowed to run third-party ads. So they will raise the prices on ad-free versions in a bid to push more people over to ad versions because then they will make some more money. I don't know if that's what's happening with this particular one, but I would be surprised if it isn't.
Yeah, but they'll probably end up doing a, I don't know, $17.99, $20.99, zero ads, and then
it's a lot of money.
Yeah, $9.99 people on benefits version.
Why don't they just do where normal programs, you know, like TV series and stuff, is the old-fashioned way of commercials? If somebody streams a movie, it's traditionally ad-free. Why don't they do that?
Because then you've got movies which are not making them money.
Well, they have a section on Amazon where you can watch TV shows and movies, and they're free with ads in them. So maybe they should do that. I don't know. Section like have all the films like they have, and just have one section where you can watch the same film, but you know, for free. But these
here
these
you go. This Amelia Bedelia. See, I don't mind adverts. Here you go. This is spot on. Amelia Bedelia. Today's kids have no patience for ads or anything else.
I wonder with that though. I wonder because so far, again, Disney's only profitable section is the one that runs ads. YouTube by default runs ads, and it's one of the most watched things there is. I don't know about TikTok because I'm not that shit. So I don't know, and TikTok, I have a soul, so I don't. I'm not a paid agent of the Chinese Communist Party yet, so I'm not on TikTok. I don't know if they run ads on those, but for the big video sharing platforms, long form video sharing platforms, most of them default to adverts. You can skip them; they might be really short, but they do default to adverts. And Amazon Prime, for example, will have sub channels where you can subscribe for free. And they have an immense amount of content, but there are ads every 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. And they evidently make enough money to run those channels. So, I don't necessarily think that is true, that people will not put up with adverts. But basically what we're doing is recreating cable television, though, which is the thing. Cable is a subscription, effectively, which runs ads as well, and you are locked in for a license period, as far as I understand what American cable goes for. I would be really surprised if in even 2 years' time, that is not basically the model for streaming as well. The difference is that streaming offers you the chance to choose what you are watching. So it's effectively you are paying a cable-like package, but you are getting a huge back catalogue, mostly of older shows, which will run ads, but you have access to them anywhere, anytime you like. And that's going to be the model going forward.
Ego, Jeddo Crisp. This is a good idea. If they played ads from your youth, it would be sweet.
It'd be great.
Well, but that wouldn't really do much for modern products.
No.
Special enough.
But have anybody noticed that Netflix is actually buying everything? I mean, today on my line on Netflix, it had Norbit on it. Do you know what I mean? They actually brought Norbit. So
well, they
they
lost a lot of stuff because of everybody wanting to make their own Netflix, essentially.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't even that long ago, like 6-7 years ago, when they had literally everything on there. And then Disney was kind of the first domino to fall, and then everybody else followed suit with well, we're gonna pull our stuff and make our own version.
Yeah.
Ego, Sudden Storm, Netflix in the UK never gets new movies anyway.
No, there are some new movies. I was on
VPN.
there today. Oh yeah, exactly.
VPN, folks.
I was on there
VPN
today.
over to the United States or wherever your preferred country is to get the new stuff.
They got Beckham, a documentary on Beckhams, the Beckhams on there now.
It's not a movie though, is it?
Is that really what passes for television for you guys?
Well, Netflix.
Yes.
Netflix has a lot of old films on there now. I'm just looking at it now. There's so many old films on there now. They're buying everything. It looks like.
But it's because there's way more bang for the buck when you do that. So I would wager, like Friends has made Netflix way more money than most Netflix originals have. For example,
I hate that program.
They are cheaper to license, cheaper to buy. You can keep them for longer, and you don't have to make them yourself. And people will pay a subscription just to watch those.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is on there, mate. Kevin Costner. Do you know what I mean? It's like
no, we're done with Kevin Costner. That was earlier.
Do we want to add anything to the Disney? No, yes, no.
Well,
Edge of Tomorrow's on there.
Netflix has got a rule for password sharing now, hasn't it? And Netflix hasn't died because of it. No. It seems sensible. I think it's a logical extension of the business model. You can't have potentially infinite numbers of people logging in because then you're not making any extra money from subscriptions. It won't matter so much once they do move to adverts, but for the moment, they are losing money from that. So I can understand why they're doing it.
I saw a great meme about this where it was like, because there's no kids with divorced parents who might need to use the same account in multiple houses. Fuck those kids.
But it's you know exactly where it's going next, though, don't you? There will be a family package where you can have it on a maximum of 3 devices. Or there'll be a business package where you can have it on 20 devices, or there'll be they will package different subscription models to allow you to have the same account used on a number of different devices, but they won't allow you to share a password to use it on unlimited devices.
Will there be a they-them package?
Probably.
I don't even know how that would be economical, given it's about 0.03% of the population, but they could try.
But how does this work?
$59.99.
How does this work, guys? Because on Netflix, Star Trek, the 60s Star Trek is on Netflix, and on Paramount, the 60s Star Trek's on Netflix. So I don't understand. Are they paying Paramount to have it on their
Paramount
channel?
owns it, doesn't it? So Netflix will be paying Viacom, which owns Paramount, I think, in order to host it on their platform as well.
Wow. Some of them are old outstanding contracts that those companies can't get out of, but they can still show their own stuff on their respective services as well. So I know that it's probably coming to an end with a lot of those for Netflix, but some of them were really, really long contracts where the licensing was for years and they still have access to it.
Okay.
Let's move on. We got bogged down there a little bit.
Just one very quick one, because I know some people in the chat are saying they're trying to limit it by location. I think, no, that is what they are now trying to do. I'm saying that in the future, they will limit it by device. Most computer software is limited by device. You're allowed to use Microsoft Office on a number of devices, not a number of locations. Yeah. And they do that for a reason. They've been in the business for a long time. They understand what makes them the most money without losing people to piracy or to password sharing. So eventually it will go to device.
Who saw this trailer for this on Amazon?
A trailer for what? Oh, yeah, the game. Isn't it a game?
Yeah, it's like a game, isn't it? Brian Cox stars in the first teaser for James Bond reality series 007 Road to a Million, releasing November 10, Prime Video.
Sounds like an idea that's going to flop. That's
Yep.
what it sounds like. Just, I'm not excited about that at all. Just looks like shit.
I think I saw a few seconds of the advert and was cringing within those
Yeah.
few seconds. So
Yeah.
Well, they killed him anyway, so he can get fucked. But
that would be a really nice end to the reality TV show, though, wouldn't it? That they all die at the end and then everyone's happy.
Rip 007 Elon.
James Bond is a big screen, glossy entertainment spectacular, and anything else, any other iteration of it would be ridiculous.
owned by Amazon now.
Yeah, well, Chris Nolan's going to screw it up, in my opinion. But there you go.
I think Amazon are going to do something with Bond.
Aren't you looking forward, though, to Hans Zimmer doing the Bond soundtrack?
Oh, God,
and it sounding
please.
like every other film he's ever done.
I hate him. I hate him with a passion.
He did the soundtrack to The Creator, which I didn't even know. I thought, oh, this is all right. And then at
That's
the
the
end,
thing with Hans Zimmer, you never really know.
I reckon you thought it was sound effects, didn't you? But really, it was the soundtrack to the film. That's how bad he is. I don't like his music at all.
God, I would just watch the trailer for this. It's bloody awful.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, everybody watched the trailer after the stream. It's dog shit.
What's it got to do with Brian Cox? He's never been in a Bond film.
Well, they probably
don't
wanted
understand.
somebody to present it who's kind of
Cheap.
got a British accent and desperate for some work. Yeah.
He wasn't a Bourne Identity film, so I don't understand why he's in the James Bond one.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Stream
So-
killer.
Yeah.
So it would have either been Dune 2, was it June 2? But instead we got this shite.
Mm.
All right, let's
Yeah,
move
it's a
on.
reality TV show where people have to do James Bond stunts.
Fuck off.
Never mind. Could be worse.
Do I get to pay to be in the audience and fire a machine gun at someone as he goes down a ski slope? Because then I would actually be interested in the show.
Yeah.
Well, at least somebody is. Let's move on.
Ooh. What's this?
Okay. I just thought I'd throw this in. This is a 10 megabyte hard drive from the 1960s, which
Wow.
could hold a single 320 kbps MP3. Look at that. Look at that, folks.
Brilliant. Looks like a
Look at
record.
that.
Yeah, that was when you think about digital storage and how far it's come.
Mm. And how small it is as well now.
It's all about miniaturization, everybody.
Mm.
So,
12,000.
does anybody have a track that they're putting? They're the one song they're putting on this.
Yeah.
Go on then. Suggestions. Chat, one MP3 to go on that. What would it be?
How long a
Lordy?
song could it be, though, if it's only 320 kilobytes per second?
Don't know.
Oh, 10 megabytes. So
Yeah, it would be a 10
One-
megabytes. So
one-
that's what is a song average?
Well, just for, let's not get.
Yeah, let's just
bogged
go with
down
their
in
rules.
technical.
10
big song.
megabytes you've got to work with there.
So we have one
uh,
song. We're just saying that.
yeah, I'm going to go with track one, unknown artist.wma.
What? Never heard
I
that
did.
one before.
Very good. That's a thinking man's joke, everybody.
I get it. I get it.
Lord, your one track.
oh god.
I've not heard that one.
Holy shit! No. Apparently, a 3-minute
one.
song can be up to 10 megabytes. 3 minutes? I don't know many
What?
songs that are under 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's got to be under 3 minutes. Okay, mine. I'll jump in, everybody. Mine's going to be. What's the Wings? Paul McCartney and Wings, the James Bond one.
Live and Let Die.
Yeah, that's 2 minutes and a bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
The longest, shortest record in history.
Wow.
I'd have to just pick whatever one of Sabaton's songs fall under 3 minutes, and I'll just have to go with that one. Let's see.
Echo.
1 3-minute song to go on that baby.
That's yeah.
For All We Know by Nina Simone. If I had to choose one song.
3 minutes?
Yeah, just.
There you go. Couple saying Blur song 2 minutes.
I like that song.
Dark Hour, did you say one? I can't remember.
I said, yeah, it had to be. It would be a song from the band Sabaton. I just have to figure out which one is under 3 minutes. It's gonna be like a few minutes to figure out. Because a lot of their songs are pretty long.
Okay, this is going to be good. Ian?
Oh, I don't know. 3 minutes.
Do you know any songs, Ian?
Oh, I know some. I don't know. About the Girl by Nirvana. I don't know. I think that's 3 minutes. I'm not sure. Not sure.
A few have been said, yeah. Baby Shark.
I don't think there's a single song of theirs that's under 3 minutes long. I might be shit out of luck.
Yeah, that's my problem too. I'm trying to find something.
This is not a stream killer. This is a stream enhancer, an extender, if you will.
We're getting
time,
bogged.
everybody.
No, we're not bogged. This is.
See, I like. I'm into Genesis as well.
Oh, Genesis. What 3 minute song?
Yes, get in. Yes.
Okay, I would trim it slightly, so it has to be 3 minutes. I would just trim like the last 2 seconds off, and it would be Night Witches by Sabaton, which is an awesome song.
Anything by the Ramones we get in there.
Yeah. Greek national anthem.
Platoon, have you ever listened to anything from Sabaton by chance?
No, I've never even heard of them.
I think you'd enjoy them. They're a heavy metal group that they're from Sweden. All of their songs are about historical events and wars and people.
This immediately sounds like the opposite of me kind of music.
Right,
I'm really sorry to say.
No, I'm saying
Right,
like I think you'd like at least the idea of it.
Oh well, I often like the idea of heavy metal, and then I listen to it and think, oh no. I'm gonna go. I got one. I can't think of a pop song or a rock song which is under 3 minutes. However, the prelude to Bach's Cello Suites is basically 3 minutes long, so I'm gonna go for that. It's lovely.
It is lovely, actually.
Okay, there you go, folks. Let's move on. Oh,
they already threw me in the bin. So
Dark Hour in the bin.
Hashtag get in the bin. I would say anybody know, but you've seen the slides. So this has been popping up on the news again. I'm fucking sick of these. There's been quite a few of these this week, actually. These stories. The Just Stop Oil nutters ruin a West End production. Is it Les Miserables?
Yes, Les Miserable.
Les Miserables, attention-seeking scumbags. The Miserable.
Well, they do tend to be miserable, so there is that in common. But otherwise, it's about a bunch of French people protesting a dictatorial regime, which is what the oil people want to impose. So, it's kind of thematically linked, I suppose.
I don't really have a dog in this fight because I don't like the protesters, but I'm also not particularly keen on Les Mis or that type of genre either. So I don't have a dog in this fight.
I'm so glad to meet somebody else who says that, because I always thought I was wrong for saying that none of this does anything for me. But no, I've seen Les Mis a few times. Every single time there's maybe one song in it that makes me think, yeah, it's okay. But I don't understand the whole furore around it. But then I hate musicals as a rule. So
yeah, me too.
Same here. I did like The Last Show. Is it The Last Showman? Was it The Last Showman?
The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, that's him. I liked that. That was all right. I love Grease. First movie I ever went to see, Grease. Love it.
When I was 16, I went to New York for the first time when I was 16, and my auntie took me to a production of Tommy, and Tommy was riding the machine that he's playing like a bucking bronco, and a flame jets out from it, and you could feel the heat across the audience. So that was the one experience I had of enjoying a musical. Otherwise, the genre is the ass end of all genres.
At my old job, the guy so I work in the event production industry, and the guy who taught me like everything I knew about projectors and stuff used to be the projectionist for Tommy when it was on Broadway. So
nice.
He did that show for like its entire run.
Just Stop Oil. Just Stop Oil are competing with their sister organisation. Can it not be brother or anyway? Just Stop water-based lubricants. They want everything to be dry. Z, you like it dry, don't you?
Well, Tatooine does have 2 suns, sir. It does.
And
get
Z,
very-
what is your stance on oil-based versus water-based lubes? Since it's
almost always oil-based.
Well, you bathe in oil, don't you?
Oh, yes, of course.
got to mix it up from time to time, apparently, though.
Oh, yes. I love a bit of Castrol GTX in the nether regions.
For the Brits, did anybody see that woman on Sky News just crying over the?
Oh, I did.
eco?
Yeah.
It was so comical.
What a stupid woman!
When are you going to stop with your journalistic objectivity? She says, as though Sky News is objectively journalistic, but also as though that is a thing we need to do away with. Yeah, these people are mad. Lots of them are genuinely mad and mentally ill. Lots of them are just fashionable young people, and some of them are diehard ideological fanatics. And I'd be happy to see them all go. Frankly, I think don't all of the protesters in Les Mis die at the hands of muskets? So if they'd used live ammo, then we could have solved 2 problems: musicals and environmentalists in one go.
I did like that woman though on Sky News. Obviously late 50s, probably maybe early 60s at a push. A lifetime of using oil. Yeah. And then she's got the sheer hypocrisy to say to the rest of us, yeah, after a lifetime of using, yeah, get in the bin. Dark Hour.
That's always the case, though, with a lot of it's always people who have utilized whatever they're protesting against for people to not gain the advantages of. It's always that, no matter what.
The really good one that Echo might be familiar with. I don't know if they were Australian or New Zealand. The young girl on the radio show who said going on holiday to Fiji. That was very funny.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get there?
I flew.
There's also some protesters in Australia who splattered a famous Australian artwork in a museum. Down on His Luck is the name of a famous Australian picture. And it just made my blood boil. But thankfully, they have this particular, very subtle coating or layer they can put on artworks, which I'm very glad for. To stop.
They do that with almost every major piece of artwork. Actually, that was happening in everywhere. It was happening in France. I think it happened in the UK. I know it happened in the United States. People were like, everyone was just going around to museums like, yes, screw history, like, because that's really what's gonna.
What gets me is 99% of the time they just get a slap wrist and that's it. And
there's also a strange kind of pathos that, they're going to grow up and move out of this phase, and then, but 10 years from now, they're going to look back on what they did, and once they've got that stringent ideology out of their system,
once they grow up,
full of that, they'll feel that remorse for the rest of their lives.
With the protests where you see they're stopping traffic, I think it's not going to end well for somebody. I
said on a previous stream, if I were Prime Minister, we are allowed to use snowplows to get rid of them, and I still think that's the best solution.
Somebody's going to lose their shit. Somebody who's just going about their business, who loses their shit, will just see the orange mist, and it's not going to end well.
It's just going to take one guy, and he's going to be laughing there as he's squirting lighter fluid over them all.
Well, there was one in Spain the other day where they're blocking the motorway, and the motorists just got out, and all the motorists just dragged them off the side of the road, and then got back in their cars and drove on.
I've seen ones like that too.
Okay. We could go the Mad Max route and glue them to the front of our cars.
Okay, I can tell it's doing well because our viewing figures are going down. So sorry, folks. That's why it's called In the Bin. Okay, let's move on. And finally, I forgot what it was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Z, what's
Look
up?
at those hotties. How beautiful they are.
C3PO Vogue cover shot, 1978. Look at that.
Isn't that beautiful?
Hey, you haven't
Well, that-
aged a day, Z. Wow.
Yeah.
I know, I'm so youthful.
But were they as good as Uncle Owen?
Well, two of them.
One of them isn't a woman. But yes,
Yeah. Look at all that 1970s unabashed real fur.
Yeah.
Was that a good
Those
time
were
to
the
be
days.
alive, Z?
not
Sorry,
for the
functional.
animals, no.
Oh, okay.
That one on the right looks like Jerry. What's her name? Who's
Jerry
that?
Hall.
Jerry
Jerry
Hall a
Hall.
bit, doesn't she? A bit. And the one on the left looks like Joanna Lumley for some
A little
reason.
bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, it's only because they put so much ridiculous, heavy contoured makeup under the
Yeah.
cheekbones that every woman looked like Jerry Hall back then.
Yeah.
Oh, good time to be alive or functional.
Absolutely
Yes.
beautiful. My goldenrod brings all the girls to the yard.
Somebody said hang on,
1978. My God.
the chat moved up. Somebody said green titty milk somewhere. I can't see it.
Yeah, I saw. That's it's Geno Crisp. I can produce blue.
Oh, here we
titty milk
go.
now.
Isn't one of your heads being auctioned at a prop store auction this week?
Hope you're talking to Z because the rest of us
Yeah,
only have
Z.
one head.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of such thing. Where is this?
I think it's the prop store. They're doing one of their big auctions in the next few weeks. I'm sure I saw I think what's his name? Anthony Daniels. Is it Anthony Daniels?
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously short of a few quid. So he's putting one of his heads up for sale. I think it's one of his heads.
Expected to fetch up to 1 million.
Not quite, but yeah, okay.
The item,
right.
complete with light up eyes, comes from the personal collection of C3PO himself, Anthony Daniels, who played the droid in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, so there you go, folks.
He's also selling hands, feet,
Shall we have a whip around for you, Z?
and an unopened cereal box.
Maybe
What?
he wants a new house or something. You know, you never know.
Is he getting he's divorced?
Is he
I just-
divorced?
I just love that there's an that of all the things that they listed, it's like, yeah, he's selling all the parts of the costume and an unopened cereal box. That just seems so random.
Hmm.
I think we should have a whip around for you, Z.
Real whips.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. I think that's it, folks. In fact, I know it's it. That is it. I think we got there in the end. Yeah, it was a bit slow to start off, but I think we got there in the end. So, chat, you are wonderful. Always great to see your interaction. Appreciate the super chats. Always genuinely great to see you guys in there to finish the week off, as it
Did you
was.
say
So,
always great to see your intaction?
What?
Did you say intaction or interaction? Oh,
interaction. I'm from the north. 2, I can't speak. And 3, it's 1:30 in the morning.
I just thought you might be congratulating them for being uncircumcised, but you know.
Do you want to do that?
Jesus.
Then? Chats, you are wonderful. We'll see you next time. I will thank the guests from the bottom. Mega
Oh.
Geek. Cheers, it.
Yeah. No worries, guys. No worries.
Dark Hour. Thank you, my friend.
No, thank you.
And second time on the channel. Echo. Chamberlain. Cheers, my friend.
Yeah, nice one, guys.
Z3PO.
Thank you very much for having me on again, Mr. Brown. I don't recall saying much, but it was a pleasure to share the floor with you, gentlemen, and our lovely chat.
And last but by no means least, Boy Wonder himself, Little Platoon. Cheers, Lord.
Always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I think that I know that is it. We're doing something Wednesday. I don't know what it is, folks. I'm sure we'll find something to do on Wednesday, same time. It's Attack of the Clones, isn't it, on Saturday?
Oh shit! Is that
you're doing
Saturday?
your like 12-hour or whatever stream?
Yes, Lord.
Oh god.
Have fun.
Good luck with that.
I'm 20 minutes into the movie, and there's still another 2 hours to go. Anyway, so that's my job for the week, everybody. Attack of the Clones slides. So if it's listed, you know that I've done them. So hopefully it will be sorted. So I think that is it, folks. Beast Up is on tomorrow, Lord, yes?
I think so. Yeah. Is it? Well, it'll either be tomorrow or Tuesday. I think it's tomorrow though. So yeah. Probably.
Okay.
You don't know when your show is on?
No, I don't. I have no idea. No.
Nah.
We're back Wednesday. Hopefully back Saturday, but we'll definitely be back next Sunday. So if we don't see you, have a great week, everybody. Take care. Tassie, bye. Timing.
Bye.